Joseph Boaga, number one president. Saint Labra was founded. Yo, in the month of rainy season, July. The first person to go, you see, Maryland or Tessie going Maryland. The first president ever to do that one. Really, in July, Tessie going Maryland. No government ever set a record except Joseph Boaga. No government really Tessie going Maryland. Straight a personal Facebook. You see here, my people, Joseph Boaga, number one president ever. They like it, straight Maryland. Straight people solo get district, Maryland. No government can be compared with Joseph Boaga. Just say in the month of July, today July 8th, just say going Maryland, SK1. One of my boys, they call SK. See the man going Maryland. See here, the first, no government, see the just say, straight Maryland.
Yes, friends, family in the real land. I am standing around Lagbasi. I am standing Lagbasi reporting to you some level of work that our rescue government, JKK and JFB government doing. As you can see, the level of work. Today, the street light came on. This is the first time of its kind since, the street now or Matali, you can say, was funded for a government or sitting government to electrify Lagbasi, from Lagbasi Junction to Matali to Fiama. This is the first time of its kind. You can see the street light going straight to Matali. You can see the street light to Lagbasi. That is why we keep telling people that this government will not fail. This government will succeed. This government will succeed with all means. We will do everything. We will do everything possible that this government succeeds. So why you sorry for that? You so excited. What happened? You so excited.
My father working there.
Sure? Are you sure?
Yes.
But people complaining sometimes in the country. And then so look at the level of work that the JMB government doing in our district. Look at the issue of road connectivity and the issue of electrifying the district.
Well. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to wherever you're listening from. Today is July 9, 2025. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Class Reloaded. We are very, very excited as always, and we want to welcome the class, all of our listeners, our audience, those watching on social media, YouTube and Facebook. For now, we have the only Patrick Moyboy on Honor. But I can call your name Honor or Honor. I can see some people call it Honda.
More boy.
But tell Moyboy, real man.
Demia, more boy.
Of course, M. Boakai Jaliba Boagala Junior or Senior. M. Boakai Jaliba Junior is a lecturer tonight and
Junior. You know, my father gave me that name, and I want to jealously guide the woman's name. I'm not passing that name over anytime soon. So I'm Junior.
Thank you. Our queen Fatima Bintu Salih.
Yeah, you want me to say? Kasi bibe manyaka mama mwana la mu kwenu na nyanya no bo mu career mu tuba kama mu ya be ya nu ye we
the Fabio
the dean of the class, the Honorable Minister of Information, the Basel Guru, Matthew Jerolime Pia. Jerolime, say hello to all in Basel tonight.
My beloved minister.
No, the only thing I want to know, Patrick Wagner.
What do you mean when? What do you mean when?
Theo. Theo.
Okay, so
Thank God you're back, Patrick. Welcome.
we're waiting
What do you
for
when?
Stephen
You know.
Johnson.
I get to 1 day break.
Just before we can go tonight, we have a whole lineup of events, but our major focus, and thank God we have the Minister of Information, who is the dean of this class, will be on.
Before you announce all the things that you'll be doing today, you care to tell us what happened in America in terms of sports?
Look, the only thing I know I want to talk about here in America is
Arabia, we can go. Arabia.
Ethiopia, Ethiopia,
The trio.
we have a defensive catastrophe that's happening tonight in Real Madrid. Our men are giving ball to PSG like nobody business to just score. It's like what a guy named Rudiger just say.
Oh man, Rudiger and Asensio, then you say you want to play PSG, you not ready?
Anyway, we'll keep that for another day. We already versed, so we're not talking no football business. Talking about football is banned on the show for tonight.
But I don't know. I can't pass it.
Okay, I'm not passing that better. So let me take this time now to welcome the first 15 students in class. The first 15. We already have more than 500 persons viewing, but we usually honor our first people in class. So tonight, Clarence Benson was the first in class. Of course, we always have Dwana S. Dwana. How are you?
Yes.
Welcome. Elko
Yes,
Pape from Minnesota. Welcome. Samuel B. McGill is well seated in class. Of course, we have Professor Abraham Daros Dillon, who is welcoming his students to class. Daros Dillon can talk more. You are chair on the foreign committee at the Senate. You should can tell us more. Richard S. Dolo is in class. We have D. Clay Botokui Jr. This guy is a regular person in class. May Tapet, T.C. Cook, Ibrahim Fofana, Sidiki Traore. Okay, the main spelling need Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. Accurate Darlington S. Plaka, welcome to class. William Dima, that Basso person, that peer sister. Joseph Faya from Foya, welcome. Martine K. Dole. It's difficult to tell where Dole then from the either from Bon County, from Bomi, and Monserrato. They are from Abraham Fofana, Wilmot Due, Aros Saros Jr. I saw him commenting, tell when Joseph Baka was speaking. Howard Evelyn Golakai, and then the last four, Comfort Gayfloor, Emerson Cedi, Israel Johnson, Joseph T. Fala from Foya, and Sir. Yeah, all is Sir Blama from Foya, Patrick Smith from somewhere. Thank you and welcome to the class, ladies and gentlemen. We'll now turn over to the lead pilot of the flight tonight, the Honorable Stephen Rubin Pookie Johnson. Over to you, Stephen.
Ali, if you call you over phone. Thank you very much, Ali. Let me say good evening and good afternoon to everybody. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's edition of the class Reloaded.
Stephen, quickly, just to correct something, I think when you people were creating the link, you put July 8th instead of 9th. So that's why from the beginning I called it the July 9th edition.
Oh, I think, yeah, Senator did the link. He made the error. I'll edit it after. But today is July 9th. This visit, we're looking at a lot of things happening today. And we're going to be doing a deep dive into what is unfolding. One of the major trending issues today is the President Bouakar's visit to the White House and the the brief meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump. The last of talking points coming out of those meetings. We'll unpack it tonight and look at the what's in it for Liberia, whether JMB made a case, whether his under 2 minute presentation provided a nuanced understanding to President Trump about Liberia's willingness to encourage U.S. investment, and so be it. But as usual, before we go into the deep topical issues, we'd like to hear from our panelists about trending issues. And Ali, let me just announce that the score is 4-0 now. It's getting terrible there in New York.
I tried Jeff Brown talking about football.
As a Madrid fan, I'm telling you, it's getting terrible there in New York. But let's make progress. And let me encourage all of our listeners to share the show. Tonight is going to be very, very, very interesting and fascinating. For those of you listening via radio, let me say welcome to all of you, all of our rural radio stations carrying the show live, all of our stations in Montserrat carrying the show live. We'd like to say welcome to the Class Reloaded. And let us begin our conversation with our trending issues. I will go as we are seated, beginning with Mo Ali, followed by Patrick Honor, Jeremy Pia, Michael Barker Jaliba, and of course, our own dear Queen Fatima Bintu Salif. So Ali, the goal was disqualified. So you get small hope. Go ahead.
I said he bound football on the show, but man, you still talking there?
Yeah, man, we bound football.
I mean, I'm just myself. Yeah, I'm frustrated about it. I gotta manage.
Steven, that I won't frustrate you back. Anyway, Steven Johnson, thanks a million. Few things trending for me. Today, we listen to those videos. Those are the things that I like to live up. The 2 videos I played tonight of a taxi. I actually felt sorry for that person taxi because they actually overloaded it. But the other part about it is that the person who did the video, let me tell him thank you for it. That taxi was going to Maryland. And like the guy said, in the month of rainy season, I guess he meant, in the middle of the rainy season in July, you have a taxi, not an empty taxi, but one that is overloaded. It's not going to Bond County. It's not going to Nimba. It's going past all the way through Nimba to Maryland, from one end of Liberia to the next. And this is something he said, and we all know that has never happened before. At this time of the rainy season, to see a taxi going to that place, even the pickups, the jeeps, by this time of the rainy season, you wouldn't be talking about or these Land Cruiser jeeps that you attempt to put on that road. Now we have taxis going there. It doesn't only speak to the government's seriousness to improve the lives of the people, but it speaks to the happiness the people are getting. And what that is doing is going to afford the people, whether through rainy season or dry season, to get access to markets and to easily get access to goods. That taxi was carrying goods. Nobody is going to say, oh, that rainy season, therefore we have to increase the prices of basic commodities in the Southeast because the rules are still pliable. And one thing that was happening, when we say, oh, it's rainy season and the roads are still good, then our men say, oh, no, that's still dry season. Then we say, okay, we agree. In dry season, LEC is giving us stable current. Then they say, no, that rainy season, rain out for the river flow. Charge calling poster, we confuse now. Which one is dry season? Which one is rainy season? And then we saw the next video that I played, the one with the guy from Lakwazi, in the night, standing, recording Why? Because two things. They face their road, and we only face the road. We put street lights there. Those lights in the streets will enable night activities. I mean, night economic activities. People who are doing their little businesses, widow market, they will not be running to go home by the time it's 6 o'clock, 6:30. They will be there. And we who can get hungry in the night as well, we can just easily stroll on the road and get our little food and come and eat. So those are two trending issues for me that I thought are very important to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo Ali. Very interesting topical issues there. Let me go to my brother Patrick Honor. Your trending issue.
Thank you so much. I like to start from where Ali stopped. I lived in Matadi for some time, and I recall some of those real difficult days when we had to walk in the darkness to get from one end to another. What Matadi looks like now seems as if Matadi, the people in Matadi, Lakbasi, are benefiting from this administration more than, because not only that you have street lights, modern street lights, but also that the roads from Matadi to Lakbasi, going to Fiama to New Matadi were all paved. And, what better way can you give those people there who really, are Liberians and those who supported this mission? But more than that, I also want to talk about what happened today, or what is happening in the United States. His Excellency the President, along with 4 other African heads of state, had a meeting today at the summit with President Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America. And I know we will have some time to talk more about this. Stephen, I dropped the video. The video is there right now. But, I was so impressed with the clear and concise introductory remarks by our president. Seems like I'm getting feedback. I don't know where. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
And also what really impressed me was just more than, President Trump's praises for President, Boakai, but the kind of impressive feedback that the world gets about Liberia and its leader. As public speakers, we understand the power of strong first impression and lasting impact of personal branding. And I thought President Boakai in his first, remark, laid a very good foundation, very good impression from the first, and personal branding of not only himself, but the country at large. I don't want to go back to where we come from, a situation where our previous leader could barely say anything in a good English, in a fitting English. So I'm impressed. We look forward to see Anthony Cassidy is queuing in, so we look forward to hearing what's some of the details that came out of the one-on-one, because I understand it was one-on-one meeting for some minutes with His Excellency the President. We look forward to hearing what came out of that. That's what's trending from my end.
Thank you, Patrick. Let me move to
check the chats, please.
Fatima, yeah, but let hear your trending issue first.
My trending issue first, I would like to tell all of the panelists, hello, thank you for coming. I would like to say to the listeners, the viewers, everyone that's in Radio Land, anyone contributing towards the comment section on YouTube or all social medias, thank you and welcome. My trending issue, our president went and made the case. We knew he did it. He made us proud. He was not dying. He was not moving. All that when he was talking, we were happy. I mean, once we have a president in our history that will go and stand in front of other presidents and be proud, and we are proud to hear him speak. He made the case. He made a case for diplomacy. He made a case for trade. He made a case as we knew he would have. So we are grateful. We are thankful. The second trending issue is that I think from all of the public speakers, all the boys and girls that are now on the street, loving their country, thinking about their country, and actually telling it as it is, talking about what's happening. Look at people moving from here and going to Plebo from here to Maryland and proudly talking about it. Why? Because this president put his country first. He did not break down houses and fix it. What he did was make sure that there is pliable roads all over the country that his citizens can go to their homes and come back. People will not miss funerals because it's in the southeast and they don't have roads. He made it possible for our people to have roads to travel on, and every boy and girl in this country, every woman, man, every elder is happy today that Josiah Nyeman Boakai is living up to the promise that he made to the Liberian people, and our votes, our struggle in those reign were not in vain. And that's what I'm happy about.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Let's
check
move
private
to
chat, please, and respond,
okay,
please.
I will. Let's move to Minister Pierre. Let's hear your trending issue.
Even though I know it's a major talking point for you, but what more could be trending so seriously in Liberia than Joseph Nyeman Boakai's presence in the U.S. and his interaction along with his colleagues with President Trump? That's the biggest news all around here. It's just that it's split into two. Some people vexed, some people happy. So that's a trending issue there. But additionally, most of the positive things we're doing, people talking about it all over the place. I didn't know that the whole Fiama area going towards Matadi, I didn't know that it was just a question of the road that was rehabilitated and made new. I just got to know that the availability of electricity, particularly street lights, something that been in short supply in Liberia, dark communities all over the place. And
I think we've lost Pierre.
Yeah, sorry, I think my internet was putting me in the late.
Okay, we got you now.
Yeah. So, and the way these communities are, for those of us who can move very late in the night, we see a lot that is going on in the city. Whether you're taking SKD Boulevard to get on the Japanese Drive to go to where I live, or you're driving just through the Boulevard, straight down to passing GSA Road, Dupo Road, all these places, and you see how the city is breaking up by the expansion of electricity. And the ordinary people are the ones talking about that. If you're not moving around much in a different community, you wouldn't even know what's happening there. Like I said, it was just yesterday, as the government's chief communicator, that I knew that the situation in the whole Matadi belt, the Fiama belt, has changed, and the place looks like some kind of real modern city. I think whatever the motivations are that's leading us to do these things, let's keep doing it, because in a twinkle of an eye, you're just going to see a different and new Liberia.
Thank you, Minister Pierre. Let me move to call for trending issue. Then Jaliba will wrap us up.
I mean, I don't mean to overemphasize the dignity that was presented on behalf of Liberia today on the world stage. I was so impressed. President Boakai is a seasoned, statesman, diplomat, so he understood how to respond, even under, condescending, embarrassing question that for me was not unexpected. I was expecting Trump to probably say something more condescending than he did. He was actually unusually polite when interacting. Maybe he got coached by his handlers, but something still slipped through. He was, talking as though he doesn't understand that the English language is prominent on the African continent, and assume that our president must have been educated elsewhere outside of Africa because he had command of the English language. I mean, this is displaying complete ignorance of world history, regional, it was shocking. So, his own citizens, Americans, are dragging him, so I don't have to say much. But I will say that President Boakai handled the situation gracefully. It would have been incredibly rude if President Boyka had corrected him in that moment. So he knew what to do, which was to not allow the indignity and condescendence of the situation to affect how he responded. His answer was simple. It was beautiful. It was powerful. It was Liberia. Where were you educated? You African who speaks English. And President Boykai said Liberia. And I want us to think about that. President Boykai was educated in Liberia. And as the older people say, when Liberia was Liberia. When will Liberia be Liberia again? When will all of the children in Liberia be able to speak with confidence and subject-verb agreements and be able to communicate outside of the community that they grew up in with others in a way that they can be understood? So there's nothing wrong with our colloquia. There's nothing wrong with us speaking our languages. But the truth of the matter is, English is a global standard language when it comes to trade, commerce, maritime, aviation. Mastering English is not oppression. Mastering English gives Liberia an advantage, a natural advantage. If you're a Chinese aviator, you must master English in order for you to be able to work. If you're in maritime and you're coming from France, you must be able to speak English, right? So for me, it was just a reminder, the importance of bringing our educational standards up to such a level that it will not surprise people when Liberians speak with this dignity. I mean, Boyka was educated during Tubman's administration. You know, we have to think about that. What year is 2025? When do we get back to those standards and beyond? So that was my takeaway from the whole situation. But I think His Excellency, the one word answer, Liberia, was powerful.
Thank you. We'll delve deeper into that particular. Somebody got a mute who got any feedback? We'll delve deeper into that once we're done with trending issue. Let me move to Jaliba for his trending issue. Jaliba.
Well, Stephen, I don't want to focus on the press conference today. I know there are one-on-one sessions, so the outcome of those sessions, I probably will talk about the meat and bones. You know, put some meat on the bones that we had today. I want to go further just by viewing that video that Ali put up earlier regarding the taxi driver, and he was trying to convey the point. The point he was trying to convey was that it is the first time in a long while that in the rainy season we had a taxi moving from Nimba to go to the southeast. And because we've placed a focus on the southeast, even though the southeast did not vote per se for the UP and President Boyka, but what he demonstrated, or what the government is demonstrating, is that irrespective of where you voted, who voted for who, but our development agenda will be tailored to be able to benefit the people of Liberia. 84% of the folks in the southeast in the second round elections voted for Ambassador Weah. 84%. That was a whooping 84%. So it shows that even though with that commanding presence in the southeast, our development programs will be partisan blind, and we will be able to tailor our development interventions to the people of Liberia. We did not see that over the last 6 years of President Weah. We saw that his interventions were merely around the Popo Beach area. You know, he will go about it. I mean, the first major action was the re-roofing of of his parents' home in that Gibraltar area, and so his concentration was just tailored, into areas where people overwhelmingly voted for him. We will not do that. We believe that through the length and breadth of the country, whether you voted for President Boyka or not, our priority is to be able to tailor our interventions to be able to affect the poorest of the poor people across the country. And so I'm very, very happy that a lot of our intervention programs in the Southeast, especially the roads. If you look, and I normally see this from my friends, Stephen, there was, I think it was 2021, for the whole quarter, River State as a county only contributed $197 to the national budget, 197. But irrespective of that, when we do development programs, the development programs are not by just by partisan lineages, right? I mean, those are tailored on the basis of, your basic development intervention. If you see, maybe you've been out of the country for long. Most of the places where community roads, where they did pavements, they were asphalted, you will come to realize that it had to lead to one of the homes of the big shots, either the minister of this, the minister of that. We're not doing that. Our intervention programs will be tailored to Liberians, because we believe, even as badly divided the country is, our development programs will be tailored towards the people, irrespective of whether they voted for us or not. And so we're not afraid about what we're doing. We are very intentional about what we're doing, and we'll keep focus. We'll place a laser focus on making interventions to the people of Liberia and not to people who have been with their partisan leanings. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Jaliba. Let me say a big thank you to all of our panelists. We have joining us for the very first time, Mr. Anthony Kessley. Kessley happens to be a deputy minister at the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs. And interestingly, Kessley is traveling along with the president in Washington. So we'll come to Kessley shortly, but we'll cue in the video about what happened today in Washington. And then we will hear from Anthony Kessley in about 3 to 4 minutes about what is happening there in Washington. And then we'll revert to our panelists to weigh in on their impression about what is happening in Washington. Ali, can you play the video about today's interaction between our president and that of the U.S. President Donald Trump?
Leaders at the White House, he is hoping to
anniversary.
Leaders at the White House, he is hoping to expand
anniversary. We did in Liberia at your embassy. Mr. President, we thank you for this opportunity to be here. Liberia is a longtime friend of the United States, and we believe in your policy of making America great again. And we also go a long way with you in your diplomacy that has to do with economic development and commercial friendship. Liberia has a lot of minerals, and one of the things we ask as good friends for a long time is the opportunity to do a survey of our minerals. Mm-hmm. And also we are committed to peace, and we've been very lucky within our region. We are a country that have had a series of democratic elections, and our country has been cooling down. And also we want to encourage American involvement in the investment in Liberia. Yeah. We'd like to see that happen. We want to work with the United States in peace and security within the region, because we are committed to that. And we just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. And such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautiful?
Thank you, Ali. I don't see.
He is hoping to expand commercial trade for U.S. companies on that continent, and even told reporters he'd be willing to visit the continent if it fits in his schedule. But he showed his unfamiliarity, particularly when the Liberian president was speaking, and he complimented him on his ability to speak English so eloquently, even though Liberia's official language is English.
Thank you. It's such good English. Such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where? In Liberia. Oh, that's very interesting. It's beautiful English. I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well English.
The White House is hoping to.
Interesting conversation there. So, Kessely, welcome to the Class Reloaded. You're
He
traveling
got people. He got
with
people. He got people on the table who can speak English.
who
Did
can
he say
speak
that?
better. That was, and when I listen to
Oh, did he say people on the table, or did he say I hired people?
yeah, say got people on the table who can speak good English.
Not at
But
that
here's the
moment.
point.
Yeah, I thought you were referring to other people who.
People who can speak
Yeah.
better English and cover.
That was the condescending moment. But for me, I think it was in my view, and I think it was a teachable moment for the U.S. president in that because here's the thing, all of Africa, Black Africa have stronger accent that when they speak, you can clearly determine which part of Africa. Liberians, on the other hand, have a little different accent as opposed to most African. And once you take your time to express yourself as a Liberian, you come across as somebody who went to school in the West. In most cases, I remember when I started graduate school, I had that experience. I was in graduate school with some Liberians who would speak typical Liberian, like Liberians. And when I try to relax myself and talk, many of my classmates will ask, how come your English is different from your colleagues? But it just shows how, when you relax and you take your time to present yourself, you come across as a different point. But that is more besides the point. I thought that was not condescending. I thought that was a display of not knowing, and that President Bouaka provided for Mr. Trump a moment that I consider a teachable moment where the president of the U.S. did not know that as a Liberian who went to school in Liberia, you can speak for anybody globally to hear you speak, not through an interpreter. I thought that was a teachable moment. But let me come to Kessely. Kessely, you're traveling with the president there in Washington, D.C. Give us the feeling before and after this meeting. What is the general feeling in the room in Washington there? Kessely.
Going in the dark.
Kessely, you can't be in Washington, your internet giving hard time, my man.
And current going as well.
I hope you watching room in
Current going, man. What?
Current gone. Let's Stephen, let's hear from Professor Fadiga since he's just coming on.
Yeah, Fadiga, you just joining us. Let hear your view. And guys, let be cognizant of time. Let's do 2 minutes each. We'll come back to you. We'll ask questions, but let's give our 2-minute summary each of what is your impression of what happened today in Washington.
Well, it seemed like the president was watching the show yesterday because a lot of what I envisioned or what he captured today. But first, let me delve into what you were saying about condescending. Look, I live in a small white town where I was 5% black. I was the only black person in my apartment for 5 years straight. So I understand people like Donald Trump, where their worldview is different. There's a man that, despite being a billionaire, I think he has not come to Africa before. There are a lot of people in America that are ignorant of other culture, and you see that a lot with older white Trump era kind of folks. So I don't think what you saw down there, do not look at it as being condescending. It was a little bit of ignorance, and he truly loved President Bouaka. The 2 times the president spoke, you could see that compliment. And Donald Trump is a very bold person. He's very predictable. He doesn't, have this too much sophistication with the way he does things. It's straightforward, cut to the chase. That's the kind of person he is. So when I said something like that the president should deal with him with both patriotism, pragmatism, combined with strategic diplomacy. And that's what we heard in his voice today, from the way he said. He mentioned our past relationship with the U.S. And he also mentioned, and he said something too that I say, I know we kind of laugh at, but mineral swap. But he didn't say mineral swap, but we need to catalog what we have. And I think it's the American Geological Service. That's something he said, you come here, explore. We got some things here that we have not tapped yet. Look, this is where you put your country first. For too long, this country has been the way it is. We need to move it forward. And we saw all that today. And look, hire the right people. When you are competent, when you are in your element, look, it shows. This man showed that he had decades of experience in public service and diplomacy. It showed today. It came off the top of his head, and he just landed and hit the nail right on the head. So look, I was shouting today, like just jumping up. Yeah. And let me add this last point. I think Donald Trump was fascinated by, I call him Experience Joe, jazzy, barrel white baritone kind of, accent. We have not seen that before. That smoky, smooth, no solar on the tongue.
Thank you, Fadiga. Let me hold you there. I think we have Keseli, come on. Keseli, can you hear us?
Before that call, waiting to deal with him.
Keseli, can you hear us?
He's muted. You are muted. You need to unmute.
You are muted. I'm muted. You, but in terms of the video, we are muted. Good.
You are muted, Kezo.
Good.
Are you there?
Mama, you're not mute again. Or mute. You struggle with technology.
BBC.
It's okay. Oh, he not mute again.
Yeah.
Now BBC, the man born before computer.
You're both computer.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, you sound so low. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Yes. That's why you sound faint. You sound like you're underwater.
You might want to adjust your volume.
Are you hearing me now?
Can we all just mute and hear what we can? Let's see what we can hear.
I'm not muted anymore on this side. Are you okay? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Walk us through. What's the feeling like in the room before and after?
Do what?
Walk us through what happened over there before and after.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure you were hearing me. First, let me thank all of you. Very happy to be on this show for the first time. Okay. Are you hearing me? Are you getting?
Go ahead, Kezo. We hearing you.
We can hear you. We hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm sure all of you know that we got in on the 8th. That was yesterday. Basically, we got in late day before yesterday, but day broke yesterday. The day actually was devoted to in-house consultations, briefings, contacts, and so far. I'm sure some of you read the press release that listed a few of the personalities and groups that met with the president at the lodging here. And those briefings were very intense. They were intended to shape the president up for this very historic meeting. You know that we had this advisor that was sitting next to Trump today. Dr. Assad came here and has spent long time with the president and in briefing session. After that, we also had Paula White. Most of you have heard about Paula White next to President Trump. I particularly participated in one of their meetings on February 6, 2017, when the vice president then came for the National Congressional Prayer Breakfast. So they have some connections. Later in the day, business groupings came, and later in the evening, the president had to go meet some other people
downtown in Washington, D.C. Well, today was the main event. We went to the White House. We were received. Well, actually, I was dispatched to the press section, as you would expect. We were in the press briefing house waiting for them. They proceeded to meet the President of the United States. The President of the United States had a one-on-one with each of the 5 presidents, President Boakai and President took their little time off and spent some very useful moment to discuss relations between the United States and Liberia. Well, that was a closed door section, so nobody was allowed to go in except people who accompanied them almost there. But in the meet, it was one-on-one. We are still trying to divulge the substantive issues discussed in there, but later
was that in the Oval Office?
Yeah.
Was that in the Oval Office?
I didn't ask that question, but honestly, I didn't ask that question. Once they said the White House, but he met all of them one-on-one. The photos will be coming. We were not granted access into that exclusive meeting place. So you will find out that I didn't get. That's my fault. I didn't ask what I was in the Oval Office. Obviously, I would think that's where such a meeting will be held. Then after the long time out there working together, the 5 presidents meeting him, they then came to what all of us saw. The president were.
I really don't understand what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know. Keso is in the US.
Where the internet, where he is, will not be.
Keso, you in the US, but you coming across very distorted in terms of the network. We can barely hear you. It's like you're underwater.
It's a call me, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but Keso, I know you've said. I know you've said. They had a one-on-one meeting. Then before they brought everybody in the group. Have you spoken to the president since the meeting with President Trump? If you have, what is his general feeling? How does he feel? What is his impression about what happened today? I think we've lost Keseli over there. Unfortunately, we've lost Keseli. We'll get back to him at the point where he's very audible and we can hear him. But we've listened to Fadiga. Fadiga spoke about his impression. We'll go across the room. Each person will give their own impression. Yeah, so I think you want to log off and come back on. Your internet is a little fuzzy. Yeah, and you appear like you're underwater.
Somebody.
So what you want to do is put your phone on airplane mode. Put your phone on airplane mode and connect to the place you add Wi-Fi. To the Wi-Fi. Then that way you wouldn't get disrupted.
I can't disrupt the main piece because I'm in a BBC. You will not know all that thing.
When you press the airplane mode, the Wi-Fi will go off. Then just click on the Wi-Fi signal, it will come back on.
Man, you confused the man.
Ali, let you move on. No, we'll not break it up until he fixes that. So everybody will talk 2 minutes each on their impression about what happened today. I will give grace period, but I will not tell you how many minute grace period. So since Fadiga spoke, I will move to Cole. After Cole, I will go to Jaliba, then Patrick, Fatima, Ali, then Pia will do a summary on this session. So Cole, Jaliba, Fatima, Patrick, and then Ali, followed by Minister Pia.
Yes, it is the responsibility of the Liberian ambassador to the United States to market our country to the United States. And we need to make sure that this is a learning opportunity for us as well. Upon this momentum, we need to make sure that we're building relationships through our embassy with partners here in the US. And this is not to call out any particular ambassador here in the US, but our embassy, our diplomatic corps here in the States has been very weak. I don't know why, and I'm not going to get into why. And it's not personal, I'm not blaming any individual. I'm speaking as far as policy and impact. What I saw Boykai do today was, in just a few moments, lift Liberia on the world stage in a manner which we have failed to do for a very long time. I'm hoping we can build on this momentum. People are now, everybody in the United States knows the name Liberia. What are we going to do with it? How do we now remove our country from this blight and lift it back into the respectable commentary of global politics and global issues? How do we bring ourselves back? We need to start thinking about the messages we're sending about Liberia to the world. Is Liberia the narrative that the progressives told the world it was in the 1970s? Or is it a triumphant story that if you study the country for yourself, you will learn? These are things that are very important to me as a person who understands the impact that Liberia could potentially have on the US, especially among African Americans and other diaspora Africans that are non-Liberian living in the US. That connection, technology transfer, potential for investment, potential for education initiatives and exchanges. There is so much that can be done beyond just minerals, beyond them just coming to take. What else can we exchange? We have research opportunities. I love the fact that President Boykai said, hey, come and help us survey our minerals. Come and help us do archaeological work. There's academic opportunities in Liberia, not just economic. We have opportunities for research. We've got the Providence Island. They're doing archaeological research in Bonds Island in Sierra Leone. We need the Yale, we need Harvard, we need these schools to come with their endowments and work with University of Liberia and do research on the ground as well. There's a wealth of things that could happen out of this, and I'm hopeful, and I'm also thankful that President Boykai represented us. He presented himself as the leader of the pack. He was the elder statesman among the group that attended this meeting, and we should be so proud as a country for the way he carried himself, conducted himself, and represented us.
Thank you, Carl. Jaliba?
So, Stephen, I would look at that from 5 key areas. One is from to pivot from aid to trade. You know, the Trump administration has dissolved the USAID and called traditional foreign aid. You know, calling for more, calling it a more charity-based and wasteful spending. So instead, right now the focus now should be around, the commercial partnerships. As you heard him today, he spoke media around the commercial partnership, and he emphasized, there's a shift from that dependency model to one that emphasizes on mutual economic benefit. And I'm sure, that's why you heard a lot of the leaders today talk media about in terms of access to critical minerals and resources. We have our basin, our Liberia basin is divided into into 33 blocks, and most of the blocks are unexplored. Since the foundation of our oil program from 1960 to now, we've drilled only 17 wells. Ghana drilled more than 50 wells to be able to get a Jubilee oil discovery. The same for Ivory Coast, 54 wells before they even had a major discovery. And so each of the 5 invited countries is rich in strategic minerals, what we refer to as rare earth minerals. Some are talking about today around uranium, manganese, gold, iron ore, your Sophies and the rest of that. And so let's see what what comes out there. Again, we should not forget that in terms of security and the regional stability, these nations, all 5 of the countries, lie along key migration routes. That talk about drug trafficking, corridors, around the Gulf of Guinea. And so, that invitation today did not only signal about the issue of the minerals, but we're also looking at security, and then what we refer to as regional stability. And of course, there's this big thing that a lot of people don't talk about the issue about countering China and then Russia. The U.S. government has this catalytic funding that is meant to curb China's influence, that is meant to curb Russia's influence. And so basically, those negotiations, if you look at all the footprints today, all five countries, symbolically, they are not aligned with China and Russia, and so they're more aligning, with Western concepts around the United States. Lastly, there is the issue of symbolic legitimacy. Why these continents, why these Arab continents, why everywhere like Nigeria, like South Africa, like Egypt, and the rest of that. Inviting these presidents somehow elevates, that global status, the U.S. intent to build new bilateral ties. And so I would think that probably the outcome of these meetings, the one-on-one meetings that the president, I didn't talk about earlier today, probably that will lead us a long way. At least then from there, we'll be able to know exactly some of the real issues that came out in terms of what partnerships were forged, and and then the rest of that. But basically, we just hoping. Because we haven't had the contact in terms of the actual outcomes of those meetings, and so we are waiting. We are hopefully waiting to hearing from the president's team in terms of what were some of the goodies came out of the bag. I'm sure the Minister of Information, Culture, and Tourism has some information from us. He can be on view that, and then we can be able to move on. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Jaliba. Fatima, Patrick, Ali, and then Pia.
Well, I've heard all of the panelists express their view. I believe that the president, under 2 minutes, represented Liberia well, sold our country well. Even the president, who has limited vocabulary, acknowledged his eloquence in English. Although he is in a country that speaks English, he was able to recognize that our president subject his verbs, everything agreed. We were not sitting scratching our heads. We're not sitting talking about Baku, you strong. None of that was there. It was pure diplomacy. Our president went, he represented us. We are proud Liberians. He sold our country. He was meticulous. He was speaking from the heart. You could see him. He spoke, and his simple word, where were you educated? Liberia. He ain't talk plenty. The thing he went there for, he hit the nail on the head. He made sure that Liberia was represented, Liberians were represented. So I truly believe that our president did what he had to do. I'm sure when he was in those previous diplomacy meetings, he emphasized Liberia's goal, Liberia's trade efforts. I'm sure he emphasized that we're not here asking for handouts. We're asking for partnership, for us to partner, mutual benefits. You get, our people get more. So those were the things that Joseph Boakai truly did. So, I was excited. I was happy for us to have a president to represent our country well. I'm just here sitting happy. And I was on social media today, and one of, our distractors kind of said, oh, yeah, the Trump made Joseph Boakai shame. Like, first of all, if you could see in Trump, first of all, I would just, in under 20 seconds, I would explain. I was going to school in New York, and I came from Liberia in 1995. The day I arrived in America was August 31st, and the next day I went to school. And they were asking us in our class to express ourselves and where we came from. And I stood up and said, my name is Fatima Bintu Salif, and I'm from Liberia, West Africa. But I was jet lagged. You could see I was tired. And I said, I just came yesterday and I had to come to New York, and beautiful city. I haven't seen anything like it. And the man said, where are you from? You speak English. And I just sat there and said, huh? Where are you? I said, I come from Liberia, where the free slaves went, and our first language is English. Like, some people are not educated in America. Some of them can stay in New York for 30 years and never been to New Jersey. They don't travel. Most of them, now the Africans are in America, they're traveling and doing all of those things. But I would like to say thank you to one of our best viewers that watch this show all the time. Rondell Thomas, he's in Liberia. Matter of fact, he just arrived today. He's still watching the show as he entered Liberia. I say thank you for coming. Our president will continue to work for the Liberian people. He will put our people first before himself, and that's what we want. So thank you. You shouldn't take all our thing. You can speak English, not speaking. Joseph Boakai made the point. He explained what we wanted. He told the people exactly that we are looking for partnership. We're not looking for handouts. The scarcity, when the scarcity of red goes so, the shuffle, you thought none of that. He was straight, direct, and to the point. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima. Let's go to you, Patrick. Ali, please check your messenger.
Thank you very much, Stephen. I'm excited again, as I said earlier, that our country was somewhat made proud on the world stage, coming from a few years back when we were branded, our government was branded kleptocratic government. I think it's very important that we highlight this point. We are coming from a few years ago when our government was branded kleptocratic government by U.S. Congressman Chris Smith. Our officials were sanctioned, including the Minister of State, who's the Chief of Staff in the office of the President of our country, was sanctioned. We can now truly say that our international image is being rebranded. I know the White House has just released images of the meetings, the one-on-one meetings, and it's very important to go back to what Anthony Kessler said, that President Trump actually requested one-on-one, not one plus one, but one-on-one meetings with the African heads of state. The White House just released, this is the image of our president and President Donald Trump, released by the White House. You see the gestures there. President Trump is smiling. President Boakai is smiling. Both of them have their thumb in the air. This picture says a lot, because it's often said that a picture tells 1,000 words. Because it was one-on-one, only His Excellency the President can divulge what was discussed in those meetings. So we are looking forward to hearing some of the things that were discussed. I also want to talk about the compliments from Donald Trump, because I've seen some folks getting it mixed up. I think Stephen said from the onset that President Trump has actually proven himself to be a bold person. He says it just as he sees it, whether he's right or wrong. Remember the case with Zelensky, when he told Zelensky, he was sort of boldly condescending about Zelensky's dress code. You know, he also did it with his vice president, when he told his vice president that he admired the socks that his vice president wore. I think I actually downloaded.
Speak of inflation. I love these socks. What's with these socks?
It's in honor of the T-shirts.
I'm trying to stay focused.
So you see, in that video, he was telling his vice president he loves his socks. You know, so I think he comes across as this bold person, and he doesn't mince his words. If he wants to be condescending, he will be condescending, and he's proving that with other leaders. So we take it as a compliment. I've been following international wires. The BBC is also, taking it as real kind words from President Donald Trump to the Liberian president. even though the spin is that it's in exchange for our minerals. But President Trump said it, President Boakai said the same, that they are now focused on trade and not aid. I think that's the key in all of this, trade and not aid, moving away from aid to trade. And Liberia, as President Boakai said, has a lot to offer in exchange for what its vested interest is. Just need to make that point.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you very much for sharing those images. Let's share the one with as Patrick just share. This is a fresh image coming from the White House of President Joseph Boakai and President Trump. Thumbs up. I think, Ali, let me hear your perspective. You've been following this event along the way all through. Let me hear from you, and then we'll go to Minister Pia.
So, Stephen Johnson, most of the panelists have made the point. President Boakai was able to make a case in less than 2 minutes. But I don't see somebody saying, President Trump saying, oh, JMB speaks good English as being a compliment. And here is why. The last administration, one of the issues that we have, besides not speaking good English, it was an issue of expressing yourself and making a case for the country. That was an issue, and that should not be an issue for any president. That has never been an issue for President Boakai. And selling Liberia should be, the country, like Stephen, you used to say, the country is like a market. And the president is the chief proponent of that market, is the person who advertises the market. If you are not expressive, it becomes difficult to sell the country. And these are some of the things that we saw. We said, well, Weah was not fit to be president. Because we don't want the president where when you go in to meet world leaders, then we all sit down on the St. Joseph Warrior bench. We worry whether our president will speak good English. We worry how many times our president will make mistakes. We worry whether the president will even know what he is going to say. We could not have been worrying about that. We knew exactly who we elected. And so for me, that was a compliment. It's just saying, okay, maybe President Trump does not know about Liberia. He doesn't know that Liberians will speak better English way more than many, many Americans. As a matter of fact, most of them who don't go to school, they don't even know how to speak English. In America, they say things also. So we can better teach them the English. But here's where I got disappointed today. And sometimes we batch our journalists here. We tell them, you're not journalists. I was just very shocked that journalists went to that summit, a summit between African leaders and President Trump. These African leaders sat over there and eloquently talked about their country and their desire to see trade and investment between their respective countries and America. The Senegalese president, for example, made a case for his country, talked about the investment opportunities that America could take advantage of. The Mauritanian president said, my country is not so great like yours, but in many respects, we are great also. And so was the Guinea-Bissau president. And then you have American journalists who are supposed to be journalists coming to ask questions on issue at bat. They jump straight to Ukraine. Oh, Ukraine say they want air patriot inside defense state. You giving it to them? Oh, China, you're in China, you're fighting trade war. What happened there? Oh, you bomb Iran. What happened there? I mean, that sounded so stupid to me today. Like, these guys didn't even care as to whether we have 5 other presidents sitting there, and they needed to ask questions relating to that summit, relating to what President Trump's interest would be or what their interest would be. They were completely off track. They didn't portray anything that resembles journalism. They didn't portray interest in the summit that was being held. And if I were there today, I was going to tell them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Pia, let's hear. Thank you, Ali. Very, very, very eloquently pointed. Pia, let's hear your take.
So I think we should not buy into what the detractors want us to make the focus of this engagement. Yes, it's a good thing that Trump could acknowledge that President Walker spoke such a beautiful English and all of that. I'm not sure that represents, for me, I'm not sure that represents any substantive takeaway. Because what we ought to be looking at, it's no secret that President Trump and his government are not too inclined positively about anything that has to do with Africa. Don't forget there's a history where he referred to the countries in Africa and some other places as shithole countries. All of the interventions that America got around the world, including those on the African continents, were all paused once he came to power. So for me, the real issue there was these 5 presidents were given the opportunity to engage President Trump and his government and make a case for their country. In other words, each of them were given the opportunity to do some pitching. You pitch your country in a way that is bought. In simple terms, if I don't want to talk about pitching, you are given a chance to sell your country. And they all tried doing so. I'm sure President Trump understood the pitching of President Walker adequately well because the other people were using interpreters and all of that. So don't get annoyed that he thought to acknowledge the fact that President Walker English was so clear, because I guess the pitching was okay. He understood it well, and he thought the case was made well, and in English. All the other argument about, oh, they know well about an English-speaking country. Who told you say because a country is an English-speaking country, mean everybody there can speak English properly? That's not the case. You and I know that not very long ago, we have somebody who will have that same opportunity and be wasting our time doing weather. So that person comes from an English-speaking country as well. So Trump was right to recognize something about our president. And whether it's true, he doesn't know that Liberia is an English-speaking country, like some people will say, it's up to them. But I don't think so. I think the message that was sent by President Walker was okay and well understood by President Trump, and he thought to acknowledge it in a different form. And apparently some of us don't know Trump. Who do you think Trump fears? What does he want to say that he can say? What is surprising to you that he recognizes that somebody's English is so excellent and he wants to say it? If he can pay attention to little things like what kind of sack is vice president wearing and acknowledging it in a formal setting, what more he can say? So if somebody want to come bring crazy argument about condescending and this and you follow it, then you're taking away from where the focus should be. And I thought President Walker made the case that he ought to have made for the country. I thought his pitching was okay. Pay attention to something in our hall. The United States president was unusually calm. Very unusually calm. He appeared happy. If you just want to match that with when South Africa got their president in that same White House, you saw an act of war, not by the use of gun or anything. You saw an environment that was hostile. Don't forget that. Sitting with these five presidents, the atmosphere was calm, it was friendly, Trump was relaxed and looked happy. Now, having done that in the open with them, now we know he gave each of them the chance to talk to him one-on-one. We look forward to getting the details as to what account President Boubacar gave the team, I mean, those of us in his communication team, that we can provide to the public. But that one-on-one gave a lot of opportunity for other things. For example, I'm not surprised if you were to raise, look, we met all the requirements for MCC, but we cannot benefit because that whole program is paused. I wouldn't be surprised if President Boubacar had a chance to raise that. We need U.S. investors here. I mean, in all the investment portfolio we've done, I know one of the biggest investments we celebrated here at the time of President Sully, when we're talking about the $16 billion investment being brought to the country. It was the RLJ Hotel, for which we broke down the National Culture Center. So we need actual and substantive American investments here. I know that President Boubacar may have had such a conversation. Issues border on trade, on security, etc., etc. So it was a clear opportunity for the president. And this is a real opportunity in the face of a Trump era, that your president, 6 months into the Trump administration, had the opportunity to face Trump and make the case for the country. How many countries on the continent you think now wishing for such an opportunity that they don't have, and they're not sure whether they will have? We had it. So that is what we ought to, in my mind, celebrate. None of you here was worrying that I'm not sure how my president is going to articulate as he's going to this place. Because just 6 years ago, when our president was going to the United Nations, at the end of his address, the substance of the address was not what was discussed, but whether it was properly delivered, whether the speech was read properly, etc. Gone is that period. We are somewhere else. So they are too little to take our attention, but the great opportunity we had to be drawn face to face with the U.S. president to make our case is something that all of us should be proud of. And just that complimentary comment about how good the English was just a sidebar that even added flavor or icing on the cake, as some people would say, but the substantive issues that we must celebrate is the president was in the room. He had the freedom to make his case. He made the case. We will get detail of what case he made. But just from the onset, from the openings, I mean the open section that was here, one could say that everything that went on there was friendly, and it comes with a lot of positivity because Trump's own demeanor was so excellent. And that is so unusual because that's not who he is. But something about us, something about the leaders that were there. And at the beginning, and be singing some kind of song, they say, I know, I think I bring somewhere about I eat show, somebody eat a show. Everybody that were in that room, I think.
Yeah, sure, I eat my show.
Yeah, that President Boubacar ate show on all the men inside it. Because he was a star performer in that little room. And I know whatever spirit was within from that opening section went with him in the closed door. And that's good for our country. Bravo to.
Thank you. Thank you, Pierre. And thank you, Minister. And I enjoy all of you guys' position. But there are a few things in my view that I thought stood out.
Yeah, even though you're talking serious thing, before you continue, you were trash 4-0, and it's over.
Thank you. Thank you, Pierre, for the update. But I mean, in my mind, there were a few issues that stood up. And one is there was a question asked by an African journalist about whether or not African leaders will support Trump to win the Nobel Peace Prize. You know, all the other African leaders answered that question in a way that they more or less agree.
Yes.
To hand it over to President Trump.
GMB
answered it as a seasoned politician. To the extent that if you watch that tape, Trump's response was very good, impressive. Because Trump knew that question, no real leader would just emphatically say, when you're ready for the study, we'll give it to you, or when this is this, you'll get it. No.
Exactly.
Say we got to focus on world peace. America got to play her role. All of us got to work together to ensure that
Dignity.
and that when the time comes, you'll have our support. That is how you answer. And that's one. My second takeaway is when for many of us here who've traveled overseas or who have had professional interactions with people that are considered, well off, or people that have greater opportunities, they often tell you in the business world, for example, that the elevator pitch, that moment where you only have 2 minutes or less to go up the elevator with somebody who may be like a business tycoon, and you must convince that person from first floor to second floor as to why they should invest in you. That elevator pitch is very critical because you only have limited time and you must make sufficient sense. And 3 key things I noticed about President Bouakar's less than 2 minutes remark. Number 1, he established the historical tie between Liberia and America and positioned Liberia as a country that has emerged from decades of war to now a beacon of hope, a country that have had successive free democratic elections, meaning now that Liberia is positioned as a country, in peace, as a nation in peace. The second key thing is that he made the case that Liberia have availability of natural resources, which is a business case, that we are endowed with natural resources. We hope that the U.S. government can come to our country and we can sit on a table and discuss. That was the second key takeaway. The third thing for me is that he opened the country up for investment. He said Liberia is open to U.S. investment. And when you look at the event leading to that meeting, you see that I think Liberia is now at a stage where this country is about to leapfrog into greater prosperity. Paula White had met the president the day met the president. Paula White King, as she's called now, is the spiritual advisor to President Trump. And then you also have Mozart Boulos. Mozart Boulos, who happens to be he's an in-law to Trump. Trump is married. Trump's daughter is married to his son, but he's also the senior advisor to President Trump on African affairs.
Quick information. I was on the line earlier with Minister Anthony Kessley, and he told me that when they were leaving the White House, Trump turned to Paula White, and you called the name, so I just wanted to give that information. Turned to Paula White with a laughter and said, "Hey, Paula, I guess you're very happy now. We've met your favorite country and their president."
Wow.
That's why.
So, those are interesting, Ali. Those are interesting. And when Paula White said in 2017, we all witnessed that video in 2017 when Paula White had said that Joseph Yuma Bouakar is a great man. I hope we can get that video somewhere along the program and maybe play so that Liberians can once again listen to her. But guys, we've made the case. The president has made the case for our country. Our country is now regaining its place amongst the Community of Nations. What are the next steps? And I would like to hear from each of you. What are the next steps? What now can we do as a government to ensure that we translate what our president has done into gains that our country can benefit? After that, we have what's his name, JMB's son. We'll talk to him after this round. He has some update on development across the country. He's been doing a lot through his podcast with spreading the good news about the development that are happening across the country. We'll bring it on for about 2 to 3 minutes to talk about some of the latest trend in terms of government development to our library. But guys, what are the next steps? What should we do as a government?
one
Still,
other
if I
quick
may,
information, BJ, one other quick information. The president is preparing to go to the State Department. I believe my information is that he will be meeting the foreign, I can call it foreign secretary or secretary of state.
Secretary of State.
And there where they are going to have most of the substantive discussion on foreign relation matters and everything that were discussed in the one-on-one meeting will be transmitted to the Secretary of State, and you have more substantive discussion.
So
Thank you, Jaliba.
Stephen, if I may, at this point is to have the president's team to be able to pick on some of the specifics. If this is on international trade, would we have in the team to be able to harness that relationship? There are actionable points that we can be able to look at, ranging from infrastructure in terms of trade. And so those teams now can be able to say, we can start the engagement. Okay. So we want to look at those areas of partnership. It has to do with energy. The entire theme around energy can be able to harness that to be able to meet the relevant stakeholders in the sector to ensure that we can be able to have those things done. And as I said last evening, Mr. Trump is a transactional president. He's highly transactional. And so whatsoever U.S. interests that are available, whether it's in the hydrocarbon sector, whether it's in just energy, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in rail, or it's in electricity. We have several teams now from the president team can be able to ensure that those things happen, and that's where we pick up from there. And most times you form a select committee. That committee can be able to say, we've heard it from the president. Can we start to establish some kind of relationship inside there to be able to ensure that those things happen? We have the whole issue of the MCC compact grant. The entire compact grant that is still lagging. You're talking about $300 million. Of money, grant money. From that U.S. government. So can we have our team to be able to ensure that and get some of those funds that are available. But again, we are yet to hear in terms of policy outcomes, from that meeting today. Those are one-on-one sessions, and so we are still waiting. I'm hopeful that the executive manager can be able to outline some of the areas of beneficiation, moving along those curves, and we see our best to be able to form those kind of partnerships and to be able to get the best out of that visit.
Thank you, Jaliba. Excellent. Let me welcome Dwalu and the people. He speaks on behalf of Liberian people, so it's good to have him.
Come on.
Dwalu, welcome. Dwalu, let me take you. Let me take you there. I'll come to Fadiga. Let me take you since you're just joining. In 2 minutes, tell us your impression about what happened today.
Look, to our people across the country, you're welcome to fellow panelists. Look, I'm going to say this. I don't care about the small things that are happening underneath that everybody's celebrating on Facebook. I care about that Liberia is arriving at a new station. And that station is total elevation. 6 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we did not get that kind of recognition. Some people may think this is nothing. I don't care about whether somebody's in awe of how somebody speaks. I care about the possibility. Let me tell you what Honorable Bwaka did today. I watched his speech and I looked at him. He got the maximum he could have gotten out of this meeting to put Liberia in a place where there is something that can be brought to our people so we can create jobs in the country. There is something that can be brought to the country so that additional investment can come into the country. The president played his card well for what it was worth.
but by the same token, he represented Liberia in a way that I want my son to see that we got a true statesman at the helm of power. Liberia is going in front. It may be incremental, but it's going bok. And eventually we're going to get to a place where our country once again gains the kind of prominence that is required for development. And I think we have the right lieutenants around the president. I think they made some great decisions. We just saw what happened up front. In the background, I'm pretty sure they're jockeying for position there. And I believe Liberia will be in a better place. I'm happy for this, Stephen. I'm happy.
Thank you, Tualu. Fadiga, let's come back to you. What are the takeaways? How do we proceed?
What I took away is that, to be honest, the meeting today was symbolic. We have gotten to that part. What a lot of people will be looking for right now are tangibles. What do we stand to benefit from this meeting? We can have all the fanfare, but when Papa go, he doesn't bring something home, the children won't be happy. I think it is now time for the president to, I would say, I know that will come out any day from now, where we have a formal communique on what transpired in that era, and he would need a team to follow up with Trump network, like lawmakers, investors, people with different foundations, people that will have interest in Liberia. We need to follow up with those people, because the follow up is the hard part. I mean, most of the diplomatic engagement, you talk, you do the camera thing, but at the end of the day, what next? And this is where we are. I think we need to establish a U.S.-Liberia strategic partnership with the foreign ministry, so that we can delve deeper into this new partnership, cementing our relationship that was already there, even though it has been dormant for some time. This presents a clear opportunity, and I think Mo said that the president is going to, is it Congress or where he said we're going, but I think
State Department.
The State Department. This is where most of the action takes place. So him going there, I have no doubt that the president is on the right track. From his speech at that place to something, but I think we need a strategic team that will fully engage there. And let me say this too. Let's not forget Paula White. I don't know whether she's Reverend or Pastor, but Pastor White, that's why we call her. You remember Paula White from 2017? You need to find that video. There was a video that Paula White voiced for then Ambassador and Vice President Boyka. She put her voice on the line and told the Liberian people that this was the man that she saw through a vision, that he was a good man. And her being, I know that could also play well in our favor. I think we should leverage everything when it comes to Trump. Leverage the different relationship and ships we have, and those that we should not just tap at this, but we need tangibles, and I think the president is going to deliver. So I think we need to,
Thank you. Fatima, Patrick, and Ali.
But Fatima, just before you come in, let me just go first. you can come. Sorry about that. Stephen, somebody was talking about 2017 and the role of networking with President Boakai, then and Paula White, now Paula White King, who was President Trump's spiritual advisor. She still is now President Trump's spiritual advisor. Say anything you want to say about that meeting. The U.S. president has a whole lot of publicity surrounding it. I mean, the office of the presidency of the United States of America, it's no small thing. As I speak to you now, President Boakai is on the Wall Street, major news organs, writers, the BBC, Newsweek, New York Times, and just as you click, you see positive image about our country, and that's so good. Paula White predicted, and I like to play this. Paula White actually did this.
Liberia, this is Paula White, here to share with you something vital. History is made up of moments that stand out above the rest and take their rightful place in the records of time. And so often it is the case that the people living in those moments failed to recognize their importance. Well, I am here to tell you, Liberia, you are in a historical moment. What you decide to do with your country now will determine its course for many years to come. And hear me, not only will the decision you make impact Liberia, but it will echo across the world. That is why I've taken such an interest in this election. The Lord has revealed to me its importance, and I cannot afford to sit quietly and not make history. As I speak to you, there is a fight going on. In the papers, it appears as a fight between political parties and candidates. But in the spirit realm, it is a fight between the forces of God and the forces of evil. As a spiritual people, you understand what I am saying. So allow me to be bold when I say that Joseph Boakai is the man for this moment. Not only is he a man of great wisdom, experience, and humility, but he is a man chosen by God. For many are called, but few are chosen. You may say to me, Paula, how can you know? You are not one of us. You are not Liberian. To that I say this. There is one body in Christ, whether in Liberia or America. What happens to one part of the body happens to all of the body. I speak to you not as a Liberian and not only as an American, but as an oracle of the Most High God, the one who grants blessing and life. I can list the many natural things that Boakai will do to improve Liberia, such as his extensive trade relations, economic initiatives, and introductions of new technologies, as well as the stability he will bring to the democracy of Liberia. But there is no more important thing I can mention than this. Joseph Boakai has made a clear covenant with God to tend to his people and to look after his church. This matters more than any initiative. For if God be for you, who can be against you? As God said unto Balaam in the book of Numbers, what I have blessed, no man can curse. God is looking to bless you, Liberia. So obey him and choose the one who will care for his church. God has given you free will, and he has also shown you his desire for your nation. As the Lord says in Deuteronomy 30:19, this day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. I am watching. America is watching. God is watching. Choose life. I love you.
That's the video I was talking about. Look, listen, brought tears to my eyes. Sorry, I had to jump in.
Stephen, if you listen to the content of what Paula was saying, you realize that this was even more than a revelation. That was 2017. She was literally begging Liberians. She was begging Liberians. At the end of the day, look at what, it's just 1 year, 6 months. I'm proud. I am extremely proud that we stood our ground. I'm extremely proud. Stephen.
You know, Patrick, and there are a lot of talking sound bites from that on video by Paula. One of the things she talked about is should Boakai win at the time, there will be stability within the country. And we're seeing it. We're seeing stability. A few years ago, this country was in a deep mess. Many of us wouldn't even be in Liberia a few years ago. We will not even have the chance to be hosting this show from Liberia. Many of us became target. People, some of us on this platform were accused falsely, taken to prison. Many of our other colleagues had to flee this country into exile. Today, this country is stabilized. We can all come home. Prophet Key, all those people, Costa, everybody in Liberia. No, not a single person Even ask them any question. I said, what are you doing here? Why are you criticizing the president? Why are you doing this? None of those things are happening. Today, Liberia is a joy to be in. Come here, you mind your business, you do what you got to do, you're a free person. And so long you don't violate the laws, you live here as long as you wish. A few years ago, that was impossible. Fatima.
Well, I don't think you even have to mind your business. You come here and you do what you have to do. I think is well received. Our president and our minister will tell you we have so many entities, news agencies, reporters, every person now opening a radio station, and they allow it because they want freedom of speech. They want your point of view. Your point of view doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. But this president, from onset, from the day he took this office, before he even did, when he was campaigning, he said, you think it's fair for Liberians to not have safe drinking water? Why people are here doing things and your children, their children are abroad, your children struggling all in the streets? I mean, he laid a foundation as to where we are coming from, where we need to be, and where we are going. And today, we are proud Liberians. He talk about corruption, he's fighting corruption. He talk about healthcare, he's working on healthcare. Go to JFK. My little brother, Joseph Boakai, son JMB, is my first cousin actually, and he went to JFK. He was showing the new equipments. He was showing all these things. Everybody have become, someone to showcase the gains of this government. Why? Because we've become proud people. We've become Liberians again. We are proud all over. We can talk about our country. Now that when we had a leader, when he's speaking, he spoke in self-interest. He was speaking about himself. He was speaking English that nobody understood, and yet Liberia is an English-speaking country. But we are proud today because our president continues to make the case. He continues to put Liberians first. And as SJ just spoke, this look at what this lady said. It's a prophecy. I don't care how delayed. What God has for you, what God's intention for you is, will come to pass. And this is where we are. And we are grateful to the Almighty for actually opening the eyes of the Liberian people to get out of the mistake that they made by rejecting what God wanted for them. But today, Joseph Boakai is a leader. He continues to lead our country, and we're proud. We're super duper proud.
Steven, I know you want to take JMB Jr. Fatima talked about the JFK Medical Center. Recently, we had to renovate the JFK Medical Center in terms of the ICU unit, and contributed some beds, some specialized hospital ICU.
When you
beds.
say we, Jariba, you mean NOCA, right?
National Oil Company of Liberia.
Okay.
Nobody knew about this NOCA in 2016. I mean, it was this moribund, bankrupt firm. I mean, we had to inject some fuel, into its existence. And so today we happy that we can be able to deliver on our corporate social responsibilities. And so, I mean, if you go to ICU, I'm not saying you should be able to go there, because ICU is a place of almost no return. But but we have managed to give it a new outlook. And so there will be intervention programs, as we've done with the rehab market program. We're now moving down to the Tubero market. And so basically some of things we'll be able to do. But since you talk about JFK thing, I just wanted to add that in. So we do some things, but we will announce them later. I just wanted to key that in. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Jaliba. I think we should take JMB Song for 2-3 minutes, and then we'll come back to our panelists. JMB Song, welcome to the show. It's good to see you. I think this is my first time interacting with you on this show. It's a pleasure to have you here. I follow your podcast and your skit videos and your short videos a lot. They're very inspiring. They provide a clear understanding about what is happening across the country. We appreciate your work. Continue to do the good work. What is happening? What is the latest from the end? What is the latest development issue across the country that you want to speak to?
First of all, I would like to be grateful to the Almighty God for making me to be on platform with such a great people of Liberia, and I'm super excited because what my daddy did today, it made me sad to, yeah, I honest. So I'm grateful and I'm too excited to be here for the second time on Class Reloaded. As for the
Great, thank you, and we're happy to have you here. You're such a great person as well. You're becoming a phenomenon on social media. So you're not an ordinary person. Most of your video are getting huge followings. So you yourself, you're not an ordinary person. It's also a pleasure for us. GMB Stone, what is happening? What is the latest trend across the country? What is the latest development happening? I saw you the other day talk about some motorbikes from the police. I saw you somewhere else. Tell us what are some of the new development across the country.
As for District 17, the president was paving the road from District 7 from Banjo Junction all the way coming to in the estate. So now I went there today and I saw the drainage where water will be passing the border culvert and also catch the area. So from the very junction, everywhere now the cover is there. Apart from that, and trying to visit the country during the reading season because a lot of videos coming up showing false video then about the government facing road, but it's showing multi road. So I thought it was that the reading season I will be going from country to let the Liberian know that this government and not government, that developmental civil government here. So
When you talk the word Asibo, I usually hear that word Asibo. What's the meaning of it? And how did they come about?
Asibo mean fire.
It's what kind of language?
Eh? Now what's that language? I just yeah.
Police bikes now. You were talking about the police bike, the cars the police people got, and JFK. You went there also. Talk about
I went
that.
JFK. I went JFK. Even the fire service now, the fire service they gave them the motorbike. The fire service got trucks and also gave them bags. And I went to JFK and also told the Liberian people about it. And for the police bag that it will be used for the president escort. Yeah, so that bag they own training now. So they buy in the president. Yeah. But they can only go for training, they can't pack it back. But starting from next month, it will be writing it so the other people can see it now. Because as for me, I can always tell people that I voted for change. And if I do everything, that the reason why on my video, I can be too excited complimenting my president because I will honor the rain, the sun, I receive beating, people tell me all kinds of stuff. So when I presenting a video with my president, I feel so excited. I be humble and I do my work to make them to understand when we let them for 6 years, they misuse them 6 years. As for my own, I'm misusing my 6 years within the interest of the Liberian people. That's the reason why I can give it to them to back to back.
Talk about picking.
I mean, we're very impressed by what they do.
I have one question for him though.
Yeah, go ahead, Fadiga.
I mean, what's up? I haven't seen you since the other day.
Yeah, Chiva, okay.
Yeah, I know you. Tell us about this job. I know you take it very seriously. I took keen interest, like many other people, the panelists and other people around the country have taken keen interest in you. How dangerous is this job? I heard that you were attacked a couple of times. Somebody even vandalized your car. Are there risks involved in have you experienced any?
As for the yes, I experienced a lot of attack from different peoples. And before I start doing this work, I was driving keke. But when I start showcasing the work of the president, my boss man took the keke for me. So at the first place, I really stand into it and I start doing it. Yes. So as for the work, even my horses, sometimes people can kind of be laughing at me, all that stuff. Sometimes when they see me, JMB song, the last time they attacked me, they helped me. But only one thing I can tell the people, They insulted me, they held me, they beat on me. Still, I can't stop. So then they just leave me. As for them, they can say, oh, they crazy at this, that. So that they just leave me because I will continue to do it. Even when they help me say I walking stick. So no president just even about do work. I will counter it when people say he's doing work. Because that's the only things that can really inspire me. Yeah. And the only thing that can make me happy to showcase the work of the president and also be proud of my nation, because all of African countries can be boasting of them president, showcasing the work of them president. So I take the initiative of doing that. Yeah. So that the reason why I believe in the work, that the work can make me happy. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. You are doing a phenomenal job, and we all admire you. Thank you so much.
And don't hesitate to share with us some of your video. We're here to promote you as well and promote the rescue agenda. We're proud of you, and from time to time we'll be bringing you on to talk about the work you do, and we appreciate you. Be safe out there. Let me tell you something, JMB son. And Ali and I had this conversation a couple of days ago. Growing up, we never had the slightest thought that we come close to people in the mansion, the presidency. We saw presidents from afar. Fast forward to today, you see many of us now have that personal relationship with the president, which is something you should be very, very proud of. There are 5 million plus people in this country. For you to be recognized by the president is something very, very, very great, and it's a blessing that you should not take lightly. There are many of your colleagues out there who look forward to that kind of opportunity. So my advice to you is that take advantage of it. Position yourself in a way that you can be a blessing not just to your family, but to your country. We appreciate the work you do, and we hope that you can find time and come back and join us on this show. Thank you for joining us. Any last word?
Steven, just submit before he goes. Are you in school, Comrade?
Out of high school, I graduated from Katiwa out of high school.
So take an entrance. Yeah, take an entrance for any university. When you pass, you bring results. I will send you to school.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
Go and sit on entrance.
Okay.
When you pass the entrance,
yeah,
let me know. I'll pay the school fees.
Entrance for any university.
Thank you.
And when you pass that entrance, we'll organize a fundraiser this show for you. We'll raise money for you.
Come on, I said your final words. I beg.
So your final word, JB, so.
Say your final word. Oh, come on now. Come on. Can't say your final words now. Calm down. Say your final words.
Me vow, Maya, you know me.
If I keep my way, quit for. Kana, we got plenty time, yo. I told you 2 minutes.
Okay, I thank you.
Neighbor, come back. Yo, man, come back. No,
come back, man. The minister call you.
Yeah, when you completed the high school?
Last year.
Since 2017.
Oh,
that's a long time. You see
that?
So between 2017 to now, why have you not attempted to go to college?
Yeah, that's 8 years.
Because I lost my dad during the COVID-19 and my oldest brother. So on that kind of because for on scholarship from FAVP Moriba. Yeah, so no way. And I was selling my late book at the same time sustaining my family because my mom and my brothers depending on God and depending on me. So when I sell the book, I have to pay attention to my mother and my youngest brother as well. So sending yourself to school in Liberia.
Almost 2 years in this. We've gone almost 2 years in this administration, and you are popularly known as JMB's son. Did you ask him, and to help you go back to school?
As for me, I'm just there to ask people because it's not just used to me. I like for people to ask me for my own opinion, then I will explain much better, because to ask people the way I see the president now, then I'm going to him, oh, president, please do the one for me, please do the one for me, please do the other one for me, please do the one for me. No. And when the president asked me, my son, which university you want to go, that one I can call any university because I didn't ask for it. Yes, for me to go to him and be doing that, because no matter I'm not used to that things, to ask people, because I know every human being have conscience. So he will see me doing well, maybe he will ask me one day on it.
But Bwaka Jaliba finish asking
All right, so Bwaka Jaliba now has said he will pay your school fee. He not telling you go to LU or go to Zimbabwe University. He said take any test, whether that's Stella Maris, whether that Cottington, whether that working at school, when you pass the entrance, he will pay your school fee so you can go to school.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Jala, I'll count your invoice. I have to tell you, thank you, Google. You're not here. I'll count your invoice.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, JMB Son. Eventually, we'll get to know your real name, but you go by the name JMB Son. It was good having you on the show. Oh, Abraham Sharif, nice to meet you. Looking for we're playing one weekend. We always have a sit down, and that we can interact more. So maybe on a Saturday, when all of the group are together, we'll have a call in and have you come over, so we all can sit down and get to know each other on a personal level. Thank you for joining us. God bless you, my brother.
Thank you. Sister Fatima, thank you.
I love you.
Stephen, I have done this for...
Great. I was JMB Son there joining us from Monrovia. Someone in Monrovia here. Guys,
Bwaka say something, Stephen. Bwaka say something.
Stephen, I have done this for the last 10 years. And so, I think my students have been graduated already from the African Methodist Episcopal University. And so maybe JB Son can add there, and make it 8 now. Because he left the stage already. And so I do that almost every semester. And I've done that for the last 10 years. So I'm just happy that to be able to intervene.
Very nice of you, my dear brother.
Yes,
and Jaliba, this was some of the things we also benefited to, even though we're not personal scholarship, but national scholarship. I remember I had a Ministry of Education scholarship for many years. And so I know what it means to have somebody. Imagine graduating from high school since 2017 and not having your parent in your life, trying to be the breadwinner. Those were some of the challenges faced by many of our colleagues. So I can understand. But it's good, that we can make those kinds of intervention. And I'm glad that you were able to come through. We'll find a time we all can meet. Guys, we're gone 2 hours and 3 minutes into the show. I think we should take some calls.
But just before you do that, Stephen, the president of Senegal has just issued a statement, just released a statement. I think his one-on-one photo, which we did not see in the previous White House release, has come out. So he has released a statement on his page. President Bassirou Faye, I hope I got that name right. He said, I warmly thank President Donald Trump for his invitation and friendly welcome to the White House. Our rich and constructive exchanges paved the way for a new, strong, and ambitious partnership between Senegal and the United States that benefits both of our peoples and Africa. I think all geared toward trade and not aid. But he seems very happy with the one-on-one exchange. So I'm also hearing that it will be a very nice thing getting the information coming out.
I know. I mean, there are lots of good news coming down the pipe. We're looking forward to hearing them. And one of the things we should push for is by the time the president returns to the country, we need to plan a big interview with him. Because it will mean his first major interview on this show since the elections. I think Mo Ali, we should push for that so that we can bring the president on the Class Reloaded that we all can engage him and talk about some of his plans, his vision for that country, and what he hopes to achieve. But there are lots of good news.
SJ, not to cut you off, he actually was looking forward to it. He actually asked, he said, when are you guys ever going to invite me? I said, oh, we thought you're too busy. He said, but because...
No, Gafata.
He said he actually likes the part when we ask them, when the viewers call and give their views and talk about their issue. He really likes that. I mean, he likes the overall program, as he said, but he said that when he likes to hear from the Liberian people, putting Liberians first. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Let's get Harris on. Harris, are you there? Let's try to bring Harris on so that we can take a few calls, and then we can hear from our panelists. Harris, are you there?
Dwalu.
Oh, Dwalu spoke. Dwalu, just talk one more before we go to the calls.
Yes, they're so quiet.
Yeah, because you just joined us late.
I enjoyed the show. I'm following the show. I'm happy for Ibrahim Sharif. Look, a lot of people, you don't even know what it means to me that the president coming over here. I'm hearing Trey. Liberia, we got a far way to go, and we need this kind of interchange. I got my fingers crossed here. I heard what happened in Philadelphia with the Liberian diaspora. All the things giving me great joy. Now we have entities that could possibly collaborate with the Liberian government to take some stuff back home. Today, I had somebody texted me and said, well, why are you so infatuated with the issue of job creation back in the country? And I told him this. I said, listen, if me Opa in Liberia, if I didn't come to America, maybe I'm driving pimping or a wheelbarrow ball somewhere and I'm catching it. We got work to do to transform the lives of our people. And anything in that direction, for me, it just gives me great joy. I'm not sitting there quiet. I'm actually excited that something positive is going to happen for my people. That's why I'm sitting so quietly.
Thank you, Mr. Dwalu and the people. You represent the masses as always. Guys, let's get Harris on so that we can take some calls. Patrick, can you get Harris on?
Yeah, I think Harris is in the backstage. Okay, he's on now. I think.
Harris, are you there? Mo, please pin the call the numbers so that we can take some calls.
All right. So relative to the question that Minister Pierre asked earlier as to whether the one-on-one took place in the White House, in the Oval Office, yes, we can now confirm that the one-on-one between President Bouaka and President Trump took place in the Oval Office. The one-on-one took place in the Oval Office this afternoon.
Thank you, Mo, for that update.
Harris?
Yeah, so we take the
Harris,
calls. The numbers are 08805616644, 0778665699, and that's for those of us in
I repeat
Monserrate.
for the numbers over so I can pin them. I didn't get it. 561 what?
The numbers are for those of us in Monserrate. You call us on 0880561644 and 0778665699. And for the counties, you call us on 07770020003 at 05550020003. We'll go to the phone lines, talk to this person. You on the name you call from where?
Good evening. How you doing, sir?
Well, good evening. You live. Let's hear you.
This is Elder Wall calling from Painesville, sir.
Okay, go on.
What more can I say? What more can I say but to just tell our president, thank you. You know, prophecy have been fulfilled. It was prophesied by Michael Bakla Francis that we have had this president. And we just listened to Paula White, that we have had a president under whose regime there will be peace. So I just want to say thank you, God, for giving us this type of leader. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you. Leave you. Talk to this person you live. The name you called from where?
Thank you very much. My name is DK Unsadekan, calling from Campley City.
Campley. That's in Nimba.
Yeah, Nimba Campley City, district number 3.
Yeah, but what means you found the show tonight?
For social media, I have a social media, I have a Facebook. I went on Spoon FM today, you know.
No, I mean the show tonight now. The show tonight. But what means you found the show tonight?
On Facebook, I live Campley. I have elected 24-hour electricity.
Okay, go on. Go on.
Yeah, so I witnessed the president today. The papa, like how the papa spoke today. When Donald Trump was shaking his head, looking at the man speaking, he spoke like my late father, Mr. Joseph Obama. Yeah, so I impressed the woman today, bro. You know, citizens are just running around, they are dictating. I said, you see how God can work? The rescue mission, to tell you that God is with the rescue mission, and we will make sure that only thing I want for the people to do now, to tomorrow, 3rd or 3rd, to discuss with the papier about our 500 million. That is my only focus.
Thank you.
Our 500
Leave
million.
you. Talk
Thank
to
you
this
very much.
person. You live. The name you called from where?
I'm Jenkins Sana calling from Koba City, Kulahun, Lofa County.
Go on. Kulahun, Lofa County.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Go.
alright.
But what means tonight you found the show? Is it by radio or social media?
Radio Makona.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, I'm very much happy. You know, 1 minute so much I started with campaign for this government. And today I'm hearing a back of it, $30,000 in Monrovia. So I cannot go to celebrate. I'm very, very much overwhelmed. And more because I just watched online as I'm a president in the White House. I mean, I'm just dancing. I don't know what to say. And the third one is that, please, what I said last night about the phone call, it was probably I want to take it back, but I never mean no harm. I want to talk about my sister or Fatima.
Thank
So,
you.
Fatima,
Leave you. Talk to this
Hello.
person. Hello.
It was probably I want to take it back.
Give me my phone, yeah.
Oh my word. Leave you. Talk to this person. You live. The name you called from where?
Hello.
You live. Let's hear you.
My name is Hassan. I'm calling from Grand Cape Mount County.
You call from Grand Cape Mount?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
I'm
hear
from
you.
Grand Cape Mount.
But what means tonight you're finding the show from Grand Cape Mount?
I'm monitoring my radio.
Okay, go on. You live.
I want to say thank you to everybody on the show. You know, I'm impressed by listening to good news, even think that our president was in conversation with the American president. Also, I got impressed by my fellow Martinez who called the president's son. I got impressed, and I want to say thank you to the minister who offered to send me to school. May God bless him so that he can do more for people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Leave you. He's not a minister. He's the vice president of NUCAD. We'll talk to this person. You live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you, Harry. Let me say good evening to the panelists. I will all call out. You know what I was for the black people of a moment. I was so impressed today, although I want to say about EFPC. I mean, hearing to not show the kind of president winner our president, the people that see the 80-year-old man, that people take a picture, they follow on castle or really all around your single. I just want to commend the president. I want to commend the president. Some of us, just like we are disabled, we're only reading and so just like our community put this part up. The court of the neighbor today, we are vindicated. And we know about the grace of God for this. Before they say here, and something for me, as we are saying, we are covering all over. We say now, we are legislative, we were covering Africa, we were not legislative, but today we can see respect coming down. We see the all the we just want to tell God, thank you for the Babylon for the blessing. In long life to build a Mama. Thank you for
Thank you. Leave you. Talk to this person. You live. The name you called from where?
Yeah, this is Omer Molva from Nigeria, Kakatan, Pisari.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm all in fact concerned about our country. I'm not a partisan to admit. But we seen the work what the government doing in 1 year, 6 months, more than even 3 years. So we believe if we're going to have Boakai from 2017 2017 or up to this time, then Liberia could be like other countries. So what happened? We will not sit down here for someone to fool all 2029. Anybody Boga say pull when that here oh in that TV the way what Boga doing. Ask anybody, nobody here the constitution 2029. We surrender all our people, we surrender all everybody because we not enough of for our unborn generation and our coming generation. So we'll not take a country, we'll get to someone who will not be care tomorrow. What will tell them? The war responsible.
Thank you. Leave you. Talk to this person. You live. The name you called from where?
Good evening. This is the voice of Joseph Mtamba from Ganta Nima County.
Ganta Nima County.
Let me commend the panelists for providing information to us as listening audience. One thing I want to urge all the panelists, you should not listen to the people under the tree. You should continue to provide information about our country, what our president and what the government is doing, all of you. Because the president cannot do it alone. That through your efforts, the president is proceeding to the right place of the Liberian people. So we should now be commenting on these people. You promote the agenda of this good government. Because Liberians are yearning to see the transformation what this government is doing for them, but not listening to people to go on social media to call the president or to say negative things about the president. And the second thing that in my mind,
sorry, we will leave you there. You have exhausted your 1 minute. We'll talk to this person. Your name is called from.
Hello?
You live.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Let's hear you.
Okay, my name is Daniel Cosimo. I call from Kakata. I want to appreciate. I'm so happy tonight to speak to Professor Show. I'm so happy to hear that our president is in America and there with President Trump. Thank you for the information, but what I will suggest to the class professor is assume the president arrived back in Liberia. I want you to please make sure that the president appear on the show so that we can listen to him. We that are in the rural area and hear the president talking to the development.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And please show let the class have an anniversary around the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll leave you. Talk to this person. You live. The name you called from where?
Hello.
Let's hear you.
Thank you. My name is Jake Parker. I'm from Bannon, Keba. Let me appreciate the team in studio more especially on the Kazilo. At least the time around you're making our job more easier for who they folks so you I can spread the message in a very intellectual center like propagating the message of the government. Let me appreciate more Stephen Johnson, Patty Ohuna, all these people. Let me encourage you. At least if you people come on air and keep up the message, we are the folks who are the very intellectual center will make our job more easier because we'll take from you people and we'll use that and we'll also build our argument on that. Let me appreciate that a lot. Let me tell you things at least the government is doing extremely well this time around. What is taking a role issue? Let me appreciate a lot. I just called to say a hassle to the team. Information Minister. Let me say thank you for that.
Thank you. Leave you. Talk to this person. You live. The name you called from where?
Thank you very much. My name is Basili S. Masari. I do join you precisely from district number 17.
Go on.
Yeah, thank you for all the panelists today.
Well, it seems like you slipped off. We have to leave you. Talk to this person. You live. The name you called from where?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm calling from Magby, Lower Magby Faston. Yeah, thank you for the show. The reason I'm very happy for the show is that the lie going around, you are really come to convince the mind of the Liberian people to pop up what is unfolding in this country. This show is the soul of this country to refine the mind of the people, to overhaul it because they are being gone in a different direction. Thank you. God will still bless you.
Thank you. We'll leave you. Talk to this person. You live. The name you called from where? Hello? Well, it seems like you slipped off. We talk to this person. You live. The name you called from where?
My name is Francis Tukban. I call you from Lower Magby, to be precise, Firestone.
Now, I want to say thank you tonight for the show to all of the panelists and to our dynamic president who God has sent to be Moses and Kun to be Aaron to lead us from Egypt. So this is the president we have. God bless him. Everything he will say about our country should be positive. And thank you guys for this show, for educating our people that we will stand by this government that God has sent to us, not me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Leave you. Talk to this person you live. The name you called from where?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. You have to be audible.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Let's hear you. You live.
Yeah, I'm Elijah K. Kwari. I'm calling from Kakata.
Let's hear you, Elijah.
Yeah, let me appreciate the panelists, also the Radio Majidi family, because through Radio Majidi we get the show, yes, in Kakata. So, yeah, I have a concern that to do with the UAV. Yeah, because UAV is up to, I want to please tell the president that he told that he is.
Thank you. Leave you. Talk to this person. You live. The name you called from where?
Hello?
Hello. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I am Peter Sinkman, and I join you from LPLC Ghana Zoo.
Go on, Peterson.
Yes. I was, by the way, I'm commonly known as the civil ambassador. I'm very impressed. I listened to the guests, all the panelists that gave me the information, and I'm very impressed. The reason why we voted for this president is for the right thing to be done. And we are not waiting for 2029 to say, oh, the right thing is not done, 2029 will get him from there. My son was born 2017, and our classroom teacher taught in government school for 6 years. Now he's serving, going to 8 years. I never benefited anything. So time going. So by he doing that, I appreciate him for that. And brother, you not believe it. Disabled people now, there's a program at Ministry of Gender through this government trying to do something for people with disability when it comes to empowerment. And we even putting it before them. We either educated, went to school, had degree, we should get job to. And I'm quite sure the government will do something about it. I was somewhere today, though I can't see. But we were watching, people were watching, telling me when the old man was sitting down, was sitting with Donald Trump. I'm very impressed about that. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take 5 more calls and then we'll call it a day. The countdown begin. This is the very first person. Let's hear you. The name you called from where?
Hello.
You're live. Let's hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Otoso Johnson. I call you from Brownsville.
Go on, Otoso.
Yeah, I tell you thank you very much. And the panelists that is on your show, I tell them thank you very much. First of all, I'm visually impaired. And I have been trying to get to you guys when you people are giving the free rights out, because we all fought for this government to come to being. But then now, for all who are unfortunate that we did not got your. But however, I tell you thank you, and I appreciate the government. How far they go? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Leave you. Take 4 more calls. This person is on. Let's hear you. You live.
Hello.
Hello. Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank God so much to take my call. There's a Paco, Joseph Walker, son of Yama. Thank God so much to my family. I'm so happy for more. I'm so happy for this my show. Thank God to my president to prepare and donate to the country. Yo, one Liberian people will not suffer my fault. And when they said to me, the party chairman, the vice president, my father, went yesterday to our party. But when one man told me that, I told him the party show, I said, I support Brother Joseph Boga to far more. I Patrick, I cannot be wrong. I don't be Canada. I want to be I never Canada. So they will get to who protect. We are not to the party.
Okay. Your phone is coming in. Your phone is coming in distorting. We have to leave you. Yeah. We'll take 3 more calls. This person is on. Let's hear you. The name you called from where?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Vani Bell.
Go on.
Calling from Tokman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. First of all, let me take this time to extend my thanks and appreciation to our dynamic president, Honorable Joseph Yuma Bwaka. You know, all of the things people are saying when the president going, you will not perform, cannot join with disgrace the bureau. The Bible make everybody shame today. Myself, I was too excited. I kept my data in my phone. I monitor the entire program. The setting after all the Bible graduate speech, when Donald Trump tried to inhale Liberia, because the president represented the country, inhale Liberia, like tears and sorrow enter in my body. So to tell you that, Liberia is transforming on a daily basis. All of this administration, we are seeing a lot of changes taking place.
Okay.
And let me take this time to tell you guys, thank you for whatsoever thing you guys are doing, making Liberia to know the good work of this president.
Thank you. We'll leave you there. We'll take 2 more calls. This person. Let's hear you. You live. Hello. Okay. It seems like you're not ready. We'll talk to this person. You live.
Hello.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm Jerry calling for Harvard Fast too.
Go on, Jerry.
Yeah, I want to tell our president, our lovely president, thank you today for representing Liberia, and the way he spoke today, I was very happy. For Donald Trump to ask Joseph Boakai, all the 5 the president that were asking the man, your English was clear. Asking Joseph Boakai, the Liberia Ethnic School, Joseph Boakai said yes. He said yes. Yeah, I like the way you spoke. So I'm very proud of Joseph Boakai. The young men out there, they should listen to what the professor said today. You see?
Okay.
I want to
Thank you. We'll leave you and take the final caller. This person will be our last. Let's hear you. You live.
Hello.
Let's hear you. You live.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Danisha Zenes. I call you from Kakata, Magiri County.
Go on.
Yeah, so thanks so much for the class reloaded. I admire this show so much. At least to dispel most of the negative things that people have been saying. I think it's good that we come and to give the rightful information. Again, I want to say bravo to my president Joseph Yuma and Joseph Yuma Bwaka for ably representing our country on the world stage. Some people had that, but for me, I knew that our president could perform. Unlike in time past, where the leader of the country, when they go somewhere, people will be in doubt that they will see other things. But indeed, this president is on a red trajectory. I want to say thanks so much to our president for his developmental agenda. We know that when he comes back, there will be good results, there will be job creation, and there will be economic benefit for this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're done with the calls.
Thank you, Harris. Thank you very much for taking calls. We do appreciate you. Harry is our regular journalist who usually comes on to take calls. Guys, you listening to the callers. We've spoken lengthily about President Bwaka's visit to the U.S., all of the pros and cons. We've looked at all of the potential benefits. We also look at what's in it for Liberia and also what it means for the continent. We've come to the point where we'll wrap up. I'll give each of you 2-3 minutes maximum to your closing, after which we'll call this a night. We've gone 2 hours and 28 minutes showtime. So Ali will take us home. So we'll start with Patrick, Fatima, Jaliba, Fadiga, and Dwalu. So Patrick is a little busy. I'll start with Fatima. We'll go to Jaliba, Fadiga, Dwalu, Patrick, and then Ali will take us home. Fatima, you're closing.
So my people, I think our president, our votes are not in vain. Our president went to represent our country. We are proud Liberians today. We are not there to hail no king. We are celebrating what he said about our country and about our people. We're proud today to call our President Joseph Nima Boakai, an old statesman who left everything, went to advocate for the average Liberian person. He doesn't care who voted for him. He was even talking about the boys and girls across the street, talking for them because a lot of them need help. In their town, nobody get time for them. They stay passing around, talking muya muya. Let's come. He's for all Liberians. He wants to make sure that all Liberians benefit from their country and their resources. We are advocating for trade. We're advocating to make sure that there's a good relationship between America and Liberia and what Liberia will benefit. I want to say to all Liberians, thank you for coming to this place every day to listen to us, because you know what happened. I know people say we're telling our story, but we're telling our truths. What is happening in the country? If it's not going well, we'll tell you. Collectively, we'll all come up with ideas and we'll change things. And we all see in less than a year and a half, President is making sure farm to market will be not less than 2 to 3 hours, where farmers will go to their farm, bring their market in town. There will be roads. The roads are not damaged. That's being done. We're seeing every major highway and byway, there is construction going on, even in these rainy seasons. I met and sat with the Minister of Public Works, Roland Giddings, and he laid out his octopus plan for the dry season. Every Liberian, every government entity, every industry, everybody is working diligently to ensure that our country moves forward. We are grateful. We are thankful. We thank this president and all of our astute ministers and directors and presidents of different entities. We thank everybody who's making the ultimate sacrifice. We also thank the diaspora Liberians. Thank people like Dwalu, who's pushing the effort for Liberians to be part and parcel of their own economy and to be drivers. Some people, there is no lie here. Manja ata bubalo ata ke mo ya ja kai menu la ke manyamu benu alo kai ko nane me mana ne me bo mana me flow amata flake ko wow ata ya foi ko no be mo abo me lo mo aya o mo go inu be mo time no alo hi iwa mo nyonu basa hi wa ina ikobe na matuko nane muyama abenu abe afona lo mo abo elo ko pe na benu mo be mo pa na mo basa mo kwenu lo nya mo abo elo nya mo ken kokko menu no mo kam baba menu na akoya mo bo hi kamme ipe iwa ya nya mo gbonu mo soke nyonu basa mo ko kwema ko mo menu na mo no wo bo sika ko me ko amana paya wala amana be manuwa ya so linka male no wa linka male bele musumale munu keni no ani be wa ma anu be na kai be musuku akeka ko me abo be ya piyo awai mo abo ilo nya ko mo wo ko ne wo bo be mako na mo na akoro wo bo jazz kai ko me jam mo abo yo nya wo ba ka amuti egbin wa me wo fe ni le mo wetin in pass na me fe o me for me afona ko pa na wa kwa me afona we na we are nya we are lo lang we are for mamo ni ko wo ba ka mo gbunu mo be ni mo be mamo na so wa kena como wo bo si mu ko wo sie ke mo akwa ke mo kama mo pe mo kokuno kie wana mo afọ we abia wo biker. We thank each and every one of you for coming. The time you spent on this show is not wasted. You're here from the horse's mouth. We come and we tell you the truth. If you're telling the truth, you don't have to worry, because the truth can be investigated and it will come. But we got some people, even if you tell them the truth, for their form, they will still take it and bend it over. But our truth is our truth. Thank you for watching. God bless you. God keep you. Tomorrow is another day. Continue to come to the class, because the class is here to educate and change the mindset of Liberians so that they can put themselves first and not others. So we thank you. God bless you. Like I said to all of you. Good night.
Thank you, Fatima. Jaliba?
Stephen, Fatima, for every time she speaks, I mean, she just win, a new cohort of VI speaking people, across the country. You know, they in Cape Mount, they in Bombing, Bapalo, Monserrado, some parts of Margibi, you know, and so and then parts adjacent. And so Fatima, always we always say thank you for your understanding in terms of the, you know, in terms of understanding of the language. You know, in Cape Mount, Stephen, we have 100% literacy rate. If you can speak or write VA, you speak write English. If not that, you speak or write Arabic. And so sometimes I tend to differ with some of the numbers that come out of that, because people understand literacy within the context that it should be English language. Just to be able to close up, Stephen, 814,481 people voted for President Boubacar to make him president in second round of elections. It's going to be almost impossible to sort of bring everyone into the governance structure. But as time goes by and we begin to expand, I mean, a lot more people will be absorbed in terms of the governance structure. Well, again, the way to do this is not to expand the public bureaucracy. It has to do with the expansion of the private sector, and where you can be able to have that level of service capacity to be able to ensure that you roll out jobs along all in terms of investment related areas, and jobs will be created along that, you know, jobs created along that value chain. We're talking about the HPX multi-user rail, you know, rail program. There will be jobs that be created along the rail lines in terms of train drivers, in terms of maintenance workers along the rail. If we're talking about expansion from Samaido to the Buchanan Port, there'll be jobs created along that line. Of course, we have the coming in of the National Rail Authority to be able to ensure that a lot will get stratified along that line. Of course, in terms of the new concentrator in Amir Yekipa, you're talking about additional jobs being created. And so we are going to do our utmost best. I mean, as in the next 3 to 4 years, we'll begin our training program. Right now, we are licensing data for the super majors to come in. And so jobs will be created along in terms of boiler makers, in terms of electricians, in terms of guys in the service sector. So there will be a lot of rollouts, and so bit by difficult bit, we will get there. You did not walk in that rain for nothing. That was one of the heaviest rains ever in Liberia on that day, and that people defied Mother Nature, and stood there for hours just to change the mistake that we had here in Liberia for 6 years between 2017 and the end of 2023. And so to the fellow panelists, Stephen, Patrick, Ali, Hussein, and of course Fatima and Dualo, you guys have done very, very well for this program. You have shot, caught the issue of the lies, the issue of the propaganda being told on other platforms, and so this show serves as that buffer. It brings in the intents of the decision makers to be able to interact, and then we can be able to quiz them. The other day I was listening passionately to the Minister of Public Works. The other time I listened to the Minister of the CSA head, just to provide real-time data, about Liberia in terms of what the government is doing. We'll keep doing that. And so probably at times, I mean, some of these shows will maybe focus on the specifics of for individual ministries and agencies to be able to roll out and be able to say to you what plans have been rolled out, and to be able to ensure, that we all can be able to, see a lot of things there. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Fadiga, then Dwalu, Patrick Ali.
Yeah, I mean, the callers, listening from the callers, you could see that the president scored big today. The nation, look, it is clear that we did not make a mistake when we supported now President Boyka, and I don't know who said it, that the walking in the rain and walking in the feces water was not in vain. For over 178 years, this country has been lacking a lot of stuff. And in the last 6 years, after making some progress, we went backward, we slid backward, and a lot of things were degraded in this country. We lost our position on the world stage. We had a president that could not really express a complete thought, or had no sense of direction for what he wanted from this country. All we saw were self-aggrandizement and self-interest, where you will leave the country for 48 days to merry-make, watch the son play football. We saw the abuse of our resources and public fund. And one thing I learned from President Boyka way back, he said, over the years, I've learned how to separate what is mine from that of the Liberian people. He's still the same modest, humble person that ascended to the presidency. He's not out for material wealth, and it's showing. And to be frank, when I listened to that Paula White video today, I couldn't remember exactly word for word what she said. I was in tears in the background. Like, she's a prophet. Like, she prophesied that this day would have come, and we are here today, watching history being made, not only in the US, but even on the home front, where the president have taken some unprecedented action. One thing I like about President Boyka more than everything else is his ability to just please his conscience. He doesn't care about the politics. There are so many things that were kicked down the can. Look, war and economic crime. It became a political taboo. Nobody wanted to touch on it. He said, I would do it. And even when we had a former Senator Johnson on our side, other people, he had fixed his signature to it. And he moved on. When it comes to firing people, I think the president have held more people accountable in his government than the last two presidents. And one thing that I took for later, and I'll just lay here soon, look, our democracy is becoming enviable. The first time right after a war, you could say, oh yeah, it was we did it the second time. The third time is a charm. We are getting good at this. Look in the sub-region. We got military here and this. I mean, after what we're going through in Liberia, I won't advocate for that, but for other countries working for it. But at least we have seen a smooth transition of power. That is a talking point that we can sell to the American that have been something. Look, now what next? After this, I think the president should focus on our embassy. Our embassy should deepen their engagement with the U.S. Congress. They should start scheduling meetings with the Congressional Black Caucus. Look for Republicans that are friendly and sympathetic to Republican lawmakers that are friendly and sympathetic to African cause, and start lobbying with them, because it's about time to move this country forward. Look, there's so many things we can get from America. We're talking about health, education. We're talking about a lot of technical assistance on so many fronts. I think this, Papa going to come home and the children going to be happy. It's not going to be the dancing, the showmanship, the flamboyant lifestyle, the flying the private jet. For this all-important trip, we went on ASCAT airline. It was not a private jet, but it shows that when you put the country in responsible people hands, they're going to deliver. Competence matter. Let me just close. The last kakistocracy that we had here, it hurt us. People were sanctioned. Now we are being applauded. I'll leave it at that. Thank you, great men, great show. I'm once again happy to be a Liberian, and I'm proud to be one of the followers of JMB. Thank you.
Thank you, Fadiga. Dwalu?
Yeah, I mean, to the people across the country, fellow panelists, just thank you so much for coming. And my sister Helena, the money we are collecting, we will not give it to Joseph Boakai. I don't think President Boakai needs that money. But I'm going to say this to you. I want you to, Liberian people, to listen to me very carefully. Citizenship is not just something you're born with. It is a tremendous responsibility. When you bring a government to power, you have a duty. It's a God-given duty to see that government succeed. And part of your citizenship is to push an agenda that is going to elevate your country. You got to remind the very people that have taken control in your country that they have a responsibility to you. And I think President Boakai does not need reminding. He's taking on this awesome responsibility, and he's taking it to new heights. Heights that we imagine. This is what I'm so excited today. I personally believe this trip, I love to call it the private sector agenda trip. There is a possibility that this trip could possibly begin at least a small-scale industry in Liberia that can put men to work. I see this coming because I hear about talking about trade, constantly talking about trade. We got to remember, this country has to bring the Liberian family back together. We have lost the Liberian family because men don't have work to go to, because men cannot go to work, because women cannot go to work. There is a dissolution of the Liberian family. Honorable Boakai is hastening the process so that family can come back together. I think somebody mentioned about Papa coming home. That home must be brought home in a way where a responsible citizen recognizes that in his own country, he can get a job, a decent quality job, and be able to feed his family. This president is pushing that agenda. Liberians that are not just voted for this president, Liberians who did not vote for this president, I want you to understand something. I want you to look around you. Don't take Dwalu's word for it. Look around you. Do you see some improvement? I am not going to deny the fact that everything is gravy in the country. I'm one person I will always remind and remember, say, listen, we are still in the dire straits, but there are gradual improvement. It takes time, but when you see the roads being widened, you see there is consideration about industry in the country. You see there are consideration of building a massive poultry farm, a farm where we can feed ourselves with our own proteins in the country, where we can start expanding the rest production in the country. You see a vision unfolding before the people. I want you guys to surround your president. And I want you to push your president and that he can elevate our country. He has a vision. Our job as citizens is to see that vision being fully actualized in our country. We want to say thank you, President Boakai, but we know you are doing great for this country. Please, Papa, you cannot give up on us. Some of us will be angry at times. There are people who believe in the country, and sometimes rightfully so, that everything is still struggling and everybody's still struggling in the country. I get that. I understand that. But I want you to continue to take your citizenship very seriously and push your president to do more. Because if he does more, Liberia grows, and our beloved Liberia can once more take a proper place of prominence amongst the Committee of Nations. And I think that is happening. Gentlemen, it was a great show. Lady, my own beloved Fatima, I miss you, Mama.
Thank you, Dwalu. Hope to see you soon. Patrick, then Ali.
Thank you, Stephen. And let me thank all the panelists tonight. Such a great show. I want to thank all the callers and those of you sending messages. Look, pain has gone straight down in the hearts of those who do not want to hear anything positive about the country because their guy is not the president of the country. And it's sad to say. But again, Liberia has had its highs and lows in terms of our diplomatic relations with countries. When President Sirleaf was in power, President Boakai was vice president, Air Force One jetted at our Roberts International Airport in the second year of her presidency, bringing the U.S. President George Bush. Then President Boakai was vice president. We had our high moments. We also saw President Hu Jintao coming to Liberia, the president of the People's Republic of China, coming to Liberia. Those are our high moments. And then we had our low moments when Mr. Weah took over. Then we got sanctioned. Then ambassadors started writing us and telling us, you're putting money back in our account. Then China played what we call silent diplomacy and pull the plugs on us. Then the US congressmen started saying we are a kleptocratic nation. Our government is kleptocratic. We had our very low moment. President Boakai is rebranding the image of our country. What happened today? As I said, World News have carried what has happened today in a positive way. We're all proud to be Liberians. And if you think this is all the good news that is coming from the US, you will hear. I like to also end by saying that this has been a great period, a great year for us. We're in July. A lot of things have happened. Buses are coming. In August, we expect, as the Minister of Agriculture said, 288 agricultural machines coming as part of the FOCA meeting with President Xi Jinping in China. That's coming in August. We expect the yellow machines to come this year. We expect the president to launch the solar energy plant at the Mount Coffee this year. A lot. You heard the information minister talking about the roads. The road from Tapeta to Town, that will begin this year. In September, the groundbreaking for the overhead, the overpass, the bridge will take place. A lot will happen between now to the end of this year. This is just the second year in President Boakai's reign in his six-year period. So I want to thank all of you for joining us. I'd like to close by, urging Stephen, before he goes, he can play the Paula White video again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patrick. Ali, take us home.
Thank you, Stephen. The reason why we are talking much about this, because it became abnormal for our president over the last 6 years to go anywhere and good news come from there, particularly in the manner, form, and style he presented Liberia on the international stage. When Ellen was president, we didn't have to hype that. Visiting the White House was something very normal. Interacting with American president was normal. Addressed the US Congress. Then, after all of that, we came to a standstill. We came to an abnormal phase of our politics. Well, when our president went out, we were worried, especially when we had the opportunity to meet with world leaders. We were worried about what kind of presentation he would do there. Again, we are beginning now to normalize the country from that abnormality, that our president will go interact with other world leaders and we wouldn't have to worry. That we just come and sit and discuss the aftermath. What will Liberia benefit from there? You see, Stephen and everyone, the benefit may not only lie in meeting President Trump, but the case President Boakai made, he sold Liberia out there for many American investors and investors around the world, because this is a news of Trump meeting 5 African leaders. Every news media in the world you turn out, they are talking about it. So in itself, it sells the country. It opens the avenue for people to come and invest. And thankfully, we are now being rated as one of the most peaceful countries in Africa and in the world. I saw Stephen sharing something today. Liberia is now among the 10 most peaceful countries in Africa. That's one criteria that investors want to see. So people will come They will engage the various sectors. They will engage the various ministries, the government agencies. They will go to places. They will want to explore what these investment opportunities are that President Boakai talked about today. So our country benefits from there. But also on the local scene, we are here showcasing our development. We are not going to forget about that. And we want to make development a normal thing so that people will be talking something way higher. So that we do not put street lights in Lakwazi and people get so excited. We should be doing way better than that. But people are excited because whenever they are bringing these news, these citizen journalists, they say this is the first time. And we all know when something happens for the first time, we get very, very excited. We get very excited. The first time for a taxi full of cargo loads to drive from Morovia to Harper during rainy season, at least in our lifetime since after the crisis, because by this time we'll be spending weeks to go to the southeast. Anywhere in the southeast, any road you took, that's the trouble you will go through. And so I want to say thanks to all of you for coming on. Thanks to our audience. We will continue to come here to engage you, give you the right information, and give you the highlights of government performance. The day will not do good, we'll talk it. I'm sure tomorrow we'll talk about the LRA, the budget, the revenue performance, and how it could impact the budget, and how it could impact the ministry, the work of the ministries and the agencies, but also the positive side of it and everything. Stephen Johnson, thank you for hosting, and over to you.
Thank you, Moali. Thank you, Jaliba. Thank you, Fatima. Thanks to Dwalu, Patrick, and Fadiga, also Pia, who were on earlier. With that, we've come to an end of our in-depth discussion on President Boaka's visit to the U.S. We'd like to thank all of our panelists for their insightful analysis on the topic. Also, we'd look at we'll explore the nuances of the president's visit and how it impacts Liberia and what's in it for all of us. I think we'd like to say thanks also to all of our viewers, all of those who called and expressed their view, all of those who listen to us on Facebook, YouTube, and those who listen via radio. Thanks to all of our rural radio stations and those in Montserrat for airing the class Reloaded. This has been another presentation by us. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Liberian time to discuss another fascinating edition of the topic. But we'll close with you on the video by Paula White when she spoke in 2017 about Joseph Boakai and how President Boakai at the time represented the stabilizer, the shock absorber that Liberia needed to move this country. We're beginning to see that prophecy manifest itself today. So we'll play that, and then after that, we'll wrap up. Thank you.
Liberia, this is Paula White, here to share with you something vital. History is made up of moments that stand out above the rest and take their rightful place in the records of time. And so often it is the case that the people living in those moments fail to recognize their importance. Well, I am here to tell you, Liberia, you are in a historical moment. What you decide to do with your country now will determine its course for many years to come. And hear me, not only will the decision you make impact Liberia, but it will echo across the world. That is why I've taken such an interest in this election. The Lord has revealed to me its importance, and I cannot afford to sit quietly and not make history. As I speak to you, there is a fight going on. In the papers, it appears as a fight between political parties and candidates. But in the spirit realm, it is a fight between the forces of God and the forces of evil. As a spiritual people, you understand what I am saying. So allow me to be bold when I say that Joseph Boakai is the man for this moment. Not only is he a man of great wisdom, experience, and humility, but he is a man chosen by God. For many are called, but few are chosen. You may say to me, Paula, how can you know? You are not one of us. You are not Liberian. To that I say this. There is one body in Christ, whether in Liberia or America. What happens to one part of the body happens to all of the body. I speak to you not as a Liberian and not only as an American, but as an oracle of the Most High God, the one who grants blessing and life. I can list the many natural things that Boakai will do to improve Liberia, such as his extensive trade relations, economic initiatives, and introductions of new technologies, as well as the stability he will bring to the democracy of Liberia. But there is no more important thing I can mention than this. Joseph Boakai has made a clear covenant with God to tend to his people and to look after his church. This matters more than any initiative, for if God be for you, who can be against you? As God said unto Balaam in the book of Numbers, what I have blessed, no man can curse. God is looking to bless you, Liberia. So obey him and choose the one who will care for his church. God has given you free will, and he has also shown you his desire for your nation. As the Lord says in Deuteronomy 30:19, this day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. I am watching. America is watching. God is watching. Choose life. I love you.
It's all in the game. It's all in the game. Here, there, and everywhere. Here, there, and everywhere. The people keep on crying. The people just keep on crying. It's not fair. And we going out with some. You're with some. Or the big people. You're with some. Out with some. all